Experts say that the 49ers should keep quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo going forward. We're going to talk about that right here on the WayneBreezie Show. Get ready to shoot the breeze because you, my friends, get to call in today.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact. Overmotivated is an understatement. Gold-blooded to the core, got your squad hating. Breezy make it look easy. Breezy on everything like 05, 06, 7 Weezy. This is not a gang. Yeah, we faithful in every way. And even though we on the East Coast, very loyal to the Bay. Heavy red and gold every day. And if you really a Niner fan, I know you can relate. Applying pressure with this content like Smaller Bear. We not accepting no slander about Trey, so beware. I stay in exclusively Niner hats. And I always tell the truth, this exclusively Niner facts. Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Yeah. Breezy this.
You already know. It's Good Friday. Well, Black Friday. Excuse me, not Good Friday. That's in April. It's Black Friday, which means everybody's probably out shopping right now. I don't know why, because you could just shop online. I mean, everything is online now. I mean, stores were closed yesterday. But look. It's one more day till the 49ers get ready to play some football. I'm super excited, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Shout out to all the members out there. I see you guys out there with your little green marks, man. Let's get these colors up so the longer you stay members, your colors go up. So we should be seeing a lot of colors going up. But good morning to everybody out there. I see you, Christy. I see you, Eddie G. What's going on? Eddie was actually one of the first people in the building. Good morning, faithful. Hopefully the food comas were as good as mine. I'm going to start. I'm still in the coma. Yo, I got in bed at I was so full. I was in bed probably like 5 p.m. I couldn't move. I was uncomfortable. I don't even think I ate that much. That one plate. And I didn't even have the big plates, the big dinner plates. It was one of them like medium-sized small plates. I mean, it was a mile high, but I didn't have that much. I didn't think I had that much. Anyway, I know my stomach is still in the coma. I quickly, probably at 12 o'clock, I'm going to have a cup of coffee so, it can help regulate. Miss Debbie's in the building. Thank you so much, Miss Debbie. Good morning, Wayne. Blessings to all the faithful joining this morning. Please remember to hit that like button. The wonderful Jacqueline Knox is in the building. She says, good morning, Niners. How come they don't have a gold heart? Why got to be a Kansas City yellow heart looking like ketchup and mustard? Not cutting on your hearts. I just want to know why the emojis don't allow you to switch the colors of the hearts. It's just a question. And Christy, she says, good morning, y'all. Christy, I want to know how your Thanksgiving was because you had the most food prepared. You know what I'm saying? The most food prepared. Like she had 45 turkeys. Well, Mose knows exactly what she had. She told us what she was having. Yesterday was a great show. It was a Thanksgiving show. It's a special show for you guys. We gave some things away. And then I had Mariah on here. And what a pleasant surprise she was to have on here. Good morning, Troy. Troy's in the building. What's going on, baby? Another member in the building. Troy out there shopping. I know you guys are out there shopping. Callie, save that question, bro. Actually, you know what? Let's start it off with that. Louisiana hot or Texas Pete? So what's funny is I'm going to go with red hot. I know that's not an option, but that's what I rocks with. I'm just a red hot guy. If I'm going to use hot sauce, it's red hot. I think that's what they even talking about. Guys, if you didn't see the video clip of Spencer Burford and who else was that in the clip with Spencer Burford? You know what I'm saying? Everybody saying Texas Pete. Let's say off brand here. It's got to be red hot. I've never heard of Valentina, but it's just red hot for me. You know what I mean? It's red hot. It's none of the above. It's red hot. But yeah, They were going around the locker room. They had practice yesterday. We'll get into a little bit of that. And they were going around the locker room doing a little interview, asking them which one. Debo said Texas Pete, but everybody else was saying the Louisiana. So I don't know if because Debo came in and kind of like bullied the interview. I don't know if they went with Texas Pete, but everybody was going with Louisiana. But once Debo came in and said Texas Pete and then ended it with Texas Pete, it kind of like went off. Like, so if you guys didn't get a chance to check that out, it's all over social media. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Faithful, make sure you guys, all right, listen, Breezy this, Breezy that is available on all platforms. All right. Now, buy the song, buy the record, but you can also stream it and download it, right? If you have Apple Music or Spotify or whatever musical platforms, probably on Tidal as well. You know what I'm saying? Listen, go ahead, stream that joint, put it inside your joint. When I go to these events, I want to hear Breezy this, Breezy that at the events. I hear my boy Travis King songs. I hear E40 Bang Bang 90 Gang. Now get my man Lake City Fresh, Breezy this, Breezy that up in that rotation. You feel me? But you can get it right there on all the platforms. YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. And you can also become members. There's a video explaining to how you could become members on the page. So make sure you go ahead and check that video out. It's super simple, all right? But make sure you go to @WayneBreezie. Hit that like button. Don't forget to send a comment. If you guys commented Happy Thanksgiving yesterday and I didn't respond, my apologies. When I tell you I was in a food coma, like I literally was messed up. I was messed up. I'm still messed up. I woke up messed up. I went to go run so I can try not to be unmessed up. And the running was like, you messed up. All right. Make sure you guys do that. All right. Listen, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. There's actually a listening version for those that are out there driving and you can't watch the show. You can't see it. You can actually listen to it. It's right there on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. And guys, don't forget to join the Patreon. We are going to be doing our membership Patreon member meeting at sometime soon because the end of the month is near. Also, those are for our legend tier members. But guys, we're doing the giveaway right there on Patreon, and I'll explain that to you guys very quickly. So Miss Cynthia, who's one of our legend tier members, donated some money, and we're going to take that money and we're going to buy a ticket for those that get the most Patreon members subscribed to the channel. All right. So you get to join me. All right. You're going to get a ticket to the game. Right. That's next week. We ain't got a lot of time, guys. It's next week. You're going to get a ticket to the game and you're going to get a ticket to the 49ers Rush road trip tailgate. When I tell you these are off the hook, they're off the hook. You're going to have me out there. I'm probably going to be performing, DJing, yelling, screaming, kicking. It's going to be fun. And you're not going to want to miss out on the experience with John Chapman and myself and the rest of the 49ers Rush road trip crew. So you'll get admission to that on that particular Sunday. We tailgate from the morning until it's time to get up into the game. And then even after the game, we come back and we finish out some food and some drinks and things like that. But guys, you can win that if you join the Patreon. All right. So what you got to do first, if you're not already a Patreon member, you join the Patreon. You got to sign up for the Legends tier. And when you get into the Legends tier, you want to get the most people to sign up for any tier there is out there. And whatever tier that is, they sign up for. You refer them to me. I check it number. The person with the most subscriptions, referrals, whatever, they win the ticket. The ticket to the tailgate into the game. All right. So it's a really cool thing. Shout out to our sponsors over there at Residency. Yo, Residency they got the Mexico hat. Did you guys see it? If you guys aren't, look, let me see if I can share the screen. They got the Mexico hat. And I'm like, damn, why they didn't tell me? Man, we got to work on our communication residency because I would have had that hat rocking it in Mexico when I was out there. You know what I mean? I don't understand. All right, so check it out. I'm going to show it to you guys real quickly. They got the Mexico hat and they got a Black Friday sale going on. So check out the sale. But you can see they got the Mexico hat. They got the slime bow. The corduroy is sold out. They got the Santa Clara dad hat. They got the Mission. That's the one you always see me rocking. I'm rocking the Alameda right now. But they do have a Black Friday sale going on. So go to www.residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy and save on your purchase today. Hey, you know what, guys? Next Tuesday, is it next Tuesday? I want to say it's next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, guess what? John and I will be back right here, 49ers Supporters Club, All right. You can go to supporters.49ers.com. Now, the only way you can watch this podcast is if you are a member. Now, the membership, there's a Black Friday sale right now, I believe, on the membership. Go to supporters.49ers.com, become a member. You're still going to get your free pack. You're going to get all the goodies that we showed. Remember, Mike and I did the unboxing of the stuff that you get. And when you become a member, you get discounts, you get special offers, all that different type of stuff. Go to supporters.49ers.com. Sign up today. We're going to be doing a podcast next Tuesday that is exclusive to 49er members. All right. So if you want to become a member of the 49ers, not just a fan, but a member where you can win cool things, go ahead and sign up. All right. Don't want to miss out on that. John and I got a crazy show that we're going to be bringing to you guys. All right, man, let's get this show crack-a-lacking. We got all the formalities out the way. I just want to check out some of the comments, see what you guys are talking about out there, because you guys are on a whole nother level. Thank you, Ty. Definitely. That's what we do. We keep the party going, man. We keep the party going. I think I might even bring my DJ equipment out there to California. I got my speaker system. Might as well just bring it out there and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Just have a great time. That's what we do. Jared says, "Hey man, I want to thank you for doing the show. You always provide, bro. Thank you for you just blessed my heart. You know what I'm saying? You just blessed my heart, man. Thank you for even this comment. Listen, this is why I do it. Like, you guys, it's cool to talk to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just want to talk or listen. Sometimes I just do the show to listen. Today's show is going to be about me listening. I got a question for you guys, and it's, should the 49ers keep Jimmy Garoppolo? You guys are going to be calling in. I got my friend Paul coming in very shortly from across the pond. Want to get his takes on it. Want to get his takes on the game, the upcoming game as well, and things like that. But let's go ahead and break down some 49ers news very quickly. There's nothing new going on. Look, practice report, injuries are the same. Armstead didn't practice. Debo was limited. Ebukam was limited. Kylie and I were getting into an argument about Debo Samuel. And then you guys got to go read the comments after the show. It was really cool because a lot of people were giving their takes on it. But listen, Debo out of shape, less explosive, things like that. I know a lot of people feel like he's out of shape. I wonder if it has to do with his condition and with his hamstring. Notice, and you know what, Collie? Remember 2 years ago, he was kind of out of shape or whatnot. And I'm not just talking to Collie, but I'm talking to everybody. He brought it up yesterday. He had hamstring issues. So maybe you're right. Maybe he is a little bit more out of shape, a little bit more on the heavy side and things like that. And who knows? It is what it is. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button while you guys are watching. You know, it'll be really cool. You guys know what it does for the algorithm. So just hit it. All right, cool. Bam. So yeah, no really big injuries. As far as no news on Kinlaw returning off the IR, things like that. So let's go ahead and break down a little bit of history of the game. So we're going to be playing New Orleans Saints on Sunday. They're coming off of a win, right? They beat the Rams last week. All right. So here's some cool, interesting things about the history. The 49ers actually lead the series 48-27. There's 2 ties. Now, if you guys don't remember back in the day, okay, back in the day, when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the day, the Rams were actually in the NFC West, so there were a lot more games played. And I know someone yesterday said, why do we always seem to play the Saints? Not the Rams, but the Saints. Why do we always play the Saints? So the Saints were, one of the teams that we had to face a lot, at least twice a season. But the 49ers pretty much dominate the series. Now, here's the kicker. The 49ers kind of are struggling. The last 7 times they played, they only won like once. It's crazy, right? Kyle Shanahan did get the win, like that 48 win. I'm excited because will the 49ers score? Do the 49ers have to score plus 40 to win this game? Because there's no Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? There's no Drew Brees. So will the 49ers have to score? I don't know. I don't score 40. Do I want them to score plus 40? Abso-freaking-lutely. Do they need to score 40? I don't think so. Not when they're playing a team that's, I will say this. Andy Dalton is a gunslinger. All right? Andy Dalton's a gunslinger. Christy, to address your question, where's Peachy? Peachy is away right now. She's going to be laying her father to rest. And so she's taking care of that right now. So just guys, please keep Peachy and her family in your prayers. All right. So that's what she's doing currently right now. So we might not see her for a little while. All right. All right, you guys are saying hell no, 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 sir. I'm trying to think of how many other ways we can say no. Is Kylie laughing at me? Yep, that's he was laughing at the question, I bet. Nah, he said straight up no. We got to know 24 will win it. That's our magic number, guys. We get to that number, we kind of win games. You know what I mean? I'm with Jerome though. He wants the 40. They should have had I, I think the 49ers should have scored 40 points in Mexico City. They just missed out on a couple of opportunities. You know what I'm saying? They just missed out on a couple of opportunities. And so, look, I think the 49ers could sit there and do some damage. You know what? Yesterday we were talking about this key piece or whatever or whatnot. And I was talking about like how I felt like Elijah Mitchell was going to be this and going to be that. So I did some research. All right. I did some homework. You guys think I don't do homework, but I actually did some homework. So when you see me looking down at my phone, I'm going to get my phone out because I have it actually in my phone. And so I wanted to look up Christian McCaffrey against the Saints. Why? Because he's from the NFC South. Just overall, I'm gonna give you his stats, right? So Christian McCaffrey against the New Orleans Saints has a total of 109 carries for 373 yards. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but he's only played the team 8 times and 5 touchdowns in his career. The last time he played the Saints, which was this year, he had 100 plus yards on the ground. He might actually be the factor in this game. I know I said I want to see Elijah Mitchell be the bell cow, but let's ask our brother Paul what he thinks about who's going to be the key factor in the run game. Is it going to be Elijah Mitchell or is it going to be my man Christian McCaffrey Jr.? Paul, what's going on, baby?
What's up, Breezy?
Nothing much, man. I know you was at work and you were going to jump in, and I appreciate it, man. Fridays I like to call. I want to designate my Friday shows to have you on here from across the pond. So whenever you're available, you're more than welcome to be here, bro.
Well, I have been watching the show whilst at work, so I want to say to everybody in the chat, I've been dying to join in the chat, but I knew I was coming on, so I thought I'd save my thoughts till you had me here. So it's always great to jump on, Breezy. I had a blast last week, so thank you, buddy.
All right. I appreciate you. Now, listen, I got to ask you this question. Who's going to be more of a key factor in the run game? Not the passing game. I think it's unfair, but in the run game, is it going to be Elijah Mitchell or is it going to be my man CMC, who's currently like number 2 in Yak? Oh my gosh.
Well, I was very impressed you'd done your homework because, like you, I'd looked into the stats, and because he'd come from that division, he's done really well against the Saints. But I believe we're going to have a game plan similar to the Chargers. So I think you're going to see Mitchell used predominantly in the run game. I think Kyle Shanahan this year, Breezy, is shown that he looks at the opponent's weaknesses and he exploits them. And I think you're going to see Mitchell as your traditional old school running back. He'll get your yards. And I think he's going to use CMC as the offensive weapon and use him like he's used the last couple of weeks. That's my opinion anyway. But what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like he got a little beat up in the Arizona game. And then when they put Elijah Mitchell in there, he was able to bully the ball a little bit more. And then once they got Elijah Mitchell going inside, then you started to see the outside runs. But I will say Christian McCaffrey had that one big outside run first that I thought might have went to the house. That was that block where Trent Williams put Buda Baker in the sand. like muscle bound man, put your face in the sand, like a little LL Cool J reference for those that like hip hop out there. But yeah, like that's what I think, but it was weird because they utilized him inside first and he was gashing up 7 yards. But then there was that one stupid penalty where he had like a 4-yard, 5-yard carry, got called back. We got behind the change. We ended up having to punt. That was where I thought that Jawan Jennings PI call should have been called or whatever or whatnot. I'm going with Mitchell's fresh. I think Mitchell's the bell cow. He may not start at the running back, which wouldn't. I would let him start. I would let him start at the running back and put both of them in. Get McCaffrey out there in space, right? Have Elijah Mitchell back there. Possibly leave Juice out and give them a different look. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing: the New Orleans Saints defense. I know they're not ranked high, but they got really good players. And I don't want to get into, I want to run at those edges. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get Cameron Jordan out there, get him gassed out, get Davenport out there. It takes less pressure off the quarterback. I don't think their interior is that great, but the outside is good. They don't really have the linebackers, but they got the secondary. They are getting players back as well. So, and practice report said that Alvin Kamara didn't practice yesterday. So there's a possibility he might not even play.
Nah, Kamara's playing. You're right. The secondary for the Saints is really good. So Jimmy G has been playing well. I don't think he turns the ball over for the fourth game in a row, Breezy, because I think he doesn't need to. I think it's going to be a lot of yards after the catch. I think it's going to be a lot of that CMC, Mitchell 1-2. And you said there, getting to the edge. That's what Kyle Shanahan does. You've got Jake Brendel coming off a massive game. I don't know if you saw him in the changing room yesterday. He was still buzzing over that block on the Debo touchdown. And that's what you want to see. You've been saying this since off-season. You want to see Brendel take on those reps, getting that confidence. Trent Williams embarrassed Buda Baker, who, to be fair, Breezy, I'm a big fan, but Trent Williams absolutely buried him. And our offensive line is getting better and better. And I know at the start of the season, a lot of the content creators like yourself were worried about that offensive line. And I could see why. But the last couple of weeks, you've got to give them the credit that they deserve. And I think, look at it a different way. You're the Saints defensive coordinator. You see Debo. You see Mitchell lined up in the backfield. You see McCaffrey in the slot. You see Trent Williams, you see George Kittle, and you think, is this a pass play? Is this a run play? And Kyle Shanahan, you know, he could probably hand it off to Juice and go the opposite way to where everyone's looking. So that's the beauty of being a 49ers fan at the moment. I mean, I'm going to cash some receipts in, Breezy. Last week, I said Brandon Ayuk could have a 2-touchdown game. A lot of people out there were unsure. And I said Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't turn the ball over. So I have been cashing those receipts all week, brother.
You got it. Whenever you get the ding ding, that means you on point, bro. Like, you got it. You got it, bro. I give it to you. You came on here, you've been saying it, and you were right. He had 2 touchdowns. I will say, I'm giving myself the ding ding because I said that George Kittle, they need to get the damn ball to George Kittle. And what happens when they got the damn ball to George Kittle? Wrong button. Hold on.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
That's what happens when you get the ball to George Kittle, baby. You know what I'm saying? You get the touchdown. But I think the 49ers, just to go back to touch on the offensive line before we open up the phone lines. We got 8 minutes. We're going to open up the phone lines. But just to touch on that offensive line, at the beginning of the season, I said, don't worry about the offensive line. I said, give them time to gel. That's the one thing I said. And Trent Williams missed a couple of games. And so that didn't allow them to really get into fruition, even though I know Aaron Banks has been playing good, hasn't given up a pressure, still has some issues in the run game, but he's a lot better out there when Trent Williams is good, and it makes that left look really well. And then the biggest issue is the center to the right side, right? And so they're still getting continuity. I would say the split reps between Burford and Brunskill is something that's actually working. Usually you don't see that on an offensive line because you want to build the continuity, but somehow Spencer Burford has the ability to say, okay, we're going to rotate. Cool, no problem. And so, for a young kid to be able to do that, that's astonishing, right? Then Brunskill comes in off his injury. He's playing well. So it's just okay, the offensive line just needs to find a way to build the continuity. Don't really know if I've been saying this about Mike McGlinchey, and I know he's an elite run blocker and he's an average pass blocker, right? That's him 100%. But this year, he's not really even average. He's kind of below average at pass blocking, and maybe he's just good at run blocking. And I guarantee you, it's not because he's declining. It's got something to do with that injury that he's recovering from. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw the interview we did with Brad Graham. I didn't realise the injury was as bad as it was with McGlinchey. So when you realise how far he's come, and like you said, it's a topic of conversation with 49ers fans. We're spoilt on the left side. You've got Aaron Banks, you've got Trent Williams, you go up the right side. Burford has been amazing since day one in training camp. I think we picked him up in the 5th round. I don't think anyone expected
it. You know it.
We seem to do all right in the 5th round, but you touched upon it before I jumped on. Cam Jordan versus McGlinchey will be a big battle on Sunday. And I think McGlinchey is in a contract year. So as much as the business side of the NFL comes into things and you don't like to think about it, he's playing for the next contract as well as Jimmy G. I know at the start of the show you were talking about keeping Jimmy here for 10 years. I can
Mhm.
see Dion in the chat. I don't think Dion could cope with number 10 being a Niner for the next 10 years, Breezy. I don't know whether we could do that to our boy Dion.
All right, check this out. Before we jump into that, because I want to get your take on it before we open up the phone lines, because I know they're going to be calling in, and I saved that topic. Before we get into that, I do want to know your biggest matchup, your key matchup in this particular game. Alvin Kamara is sick. That's why he wasn't at practice. But if he's healthy, he's probably going to be good to go on Sunday. But what's your biggest matchup? And then what's your biggest position battle? Let me get those two.
So I was like many people. I took Olav quite high in fantasy football. I didn't know too much about him because I'm the first to admit I'm not a massive college football fan. Purely because it's on a Saturday night and my good lady doesn't let me watch football 2 days in a row. Got to play the family card sometimes. But Olav's been quite good for me. So I do think it'll be interesting to see whether we travel Mooney. Because this time last week, Breezy, we were saying Mooney won't travel with D-Hop. And he did. And I don't think it worked so well at first because he struggled.
But he struggled. You got to watch the film. There were reasons why. There were rub routes. There were, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, when I say struggled, I asked this question to the 49er Faithful UK on Tuesday night. Would you rather have had Brandon Ayuk with 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns for 20 yards, or would you rather have D-Hop with his 11 receptions and 95 yards, but no touchdowns? And I think Ryan's has a defense, Breezy, which is bend but not break. He doesn't mind giving up those yards, but when they get to the red zone,
that was my point. That was what I was going to say. You're right. You're 100% on. It was because he was playing off, and he told you why. He spoke about it. He said, "Look, man, I was going to let this guy get me, beat me deep. So if he get me underneath, cool." Hopkins had like one catch that was on him where he kind of like he was running stride for stride, and no, not even that. It was a route. Hopkins ran a route. The ball was perfectly thrown. Now I remember it like day. And remember, it was like a comeback route, and Mooney was going down. So if the ball was overthrown, it was a pick. But the ball wasn't overthrown, and he made that comeback. He stopped in his tracks. Mooney was going this way. It was just a great catch. It was a great catch. He had 9 receptions for 91 yards, and I put out there that I still felt like they checked him in to what I call the psych ward. Why? Because they kept that man out of the end zone. If I'll give up 100,000 yards and 0 points if they're not getting any points, what do the yards matter? You guys just said that. Look, Jimmy can get all these stats and be all this great, but if he can't win the games that count, what's the point? So if Hopkins can get all these yards but not score, what's the point? So he builds his stats up and he still loses. At the end of the day, that was my argument. And I wrote about that in WebZone. So if y'all would read the article, it talked about limiting Hopkins, checking him into the psych ward. He didn't score. And then I think Sports Illustrated put something out and I commented on it. And I was like, yeah, he had nine receptions for 91 yards and 0 points. And people laughed at me. I'm like, why? He had 0 points. Like at the end of the day, he didn't score. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the one guy you don't want to score because he brings so much energy, synergy, juju, whatever. He scores, it's a different ball game. We know that. And they had to take him out. Why? Because we eliminated their asses by the 3rd quarter. So, of course, he wasn't going to do anything. People be cracking me up about that stuff. My bad. Anyway, let me let you touch in on this Jimmy Garoppolo situation because, you know, here's what's going on, right? Every media head, talking head in the media is enamored. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm using that word because that was a word that was used for Trey Lance. Is enamored by Jimmy Garoppolo in his play. And then one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all times, who was like, gotta let Trey Lance play. Gotta keep Jimmy. He's confused me. I don't know if it's the concussions or what. On KNBR, he says, Steve Young on KNBR last night says, I don't want Jimmy around here for the next few months. I want him here for the next 10 years. Steve Young, 10 years? That's a decade, bro. I'll be 50, 52. I couldn't do it. I won't do it. I couldn't do it. What are your thoughts on this? We're going to open up the phone lines right after Paul gives his comment.
I mean, it comes down to recency bias, doesn't it? So obviously Jimmy is coming off probably some of the best football in his career. What's frustrating, Breezy, is this is what we wanted from Jimmy a couple of years ago. And he's in a contract year. Remember last time he was in a contract year, he balled out in those last 5 games of the season. Kyle Shanahan slimmed the playbook down. We all thought we had the franchise quarterback. Myself, you, John V, Dion, we all bought 10 jerseys. We were all on board. But we've seen enough
10
now.
jerseys.
Yeah. John V was due to put his on the locker room rant on Tuesday night, but he decided not to. I think the chat were wanting it. But we don't do regular season wins in San Francisco. It's about the Super Bowl. Now, come back to me once we've got number 6 in the cabinet and we can maybe have a conversation. And if Jimmy is the MVP in the Super Bowl and we've won, then maybe you have a different conversation. But at the moment, he's coming off one of the better games of his career, but the Cardinals will beat up and they're checked out. You've watched the game tape, Breezie. How many business decisions were made by those defenders? The Debo touchdown, the Kittle touchdown, which, to be honest, I loved. But when you watch it back on the All-22, there was about 4 defenders that, realistically, if you're conceding that touchdown and you're reviewing that game tape, you're fuming. But I said it last Friday, and I'm going to stand by it. I'm all in on Trey. I want to see Trey area. He's going to be QB1 next year. I wish Jimmy well. I hope he does put that Super Bowl in the cabinet for us, Breezie. He goes off and he gets that bag, like Dion said. But I don't think it's us. I just don't see us paying him. We've got too many other people that need paying. We've got Nick Bosa. So if you ask the chat, would you rather have Nick Bosa here next year or would you rather have Jimmy Garoppolo? Because when it comes out in the money, you can't pay everybody.
Yeah. To me, that's the most important reason why they went and drafted a young guy. And they weren't even hoping to get him in here to play right now. Remember that. They didn't want Trey Lance. We wanted Trey Lance to play right away. That's not what Kyle Shanahan wanted. And if it wasn't for Jimmy Garoppolo's injury again, Trey Lance would probably still be sitting on the bench, like getting acclimated to the game while Jimmy Garoppolo plays on the last year of his contract. That's just what it is. And here's the thing, man. Look, I love Jimmy Garoppolo. Always have, especially as a person. I thought he was going to be able to do great things. Then he started getting injured, and we started seeing this he wasn't able to grow. He wasn't able to develop. He wasn't able to play. He was making business decisions by not playing here. That was okay for everybody. Okay. Be a warrior. Then last year he went and he was the warrior. I give him that. Remember, he went from not being a warrior in 2020 to being a warrior in 2021, playing with the shoulder, the thumb, and all that type of stuff. And I commended him for that. I thought that was something really good. But we all knew it was time to move forward because they had drafted the future. The team was built. Let me ask you this question before we open up the phone lines. And guys, get ready to call in. If Trey Lance was still here and not injured, would the 49ers be 6-4?
I personally believe so. And for me, Thanksgiving yesterday, I know it's a big holiday for you guys. For us in the UK, Breezy, it just means back-to-back football, which is amazing. And I finished work yesterday at 5 o'clock, sat down in front of the TV, and I thoroughly enjoyed the Lions versus the Bills. Now, that game came down to 2 plays in my eyes. Could Jared Goff put the team on his back? And he couldn't. And that last play from Josh Allen, where it was, 20 seconds on the clock and he fizzed that ball in, that got me excited. That was a glimpse of, that's what Kyle Shanahan wants. I maintain that when the Bills gave us a hiding a couple of years ago, that's when Kyle Shanahan made his mind up to move off Jimmy G. And he wanted a quarterback like Josh Allen. Now, I'm not going to say Trey Lance is Josh Allen. Josh Allen had a couple of years in the league. But what I'm saying is that big arm capability. And I've seen a lot of comparisons in the last couple of days, Breezy, between Goff and Jimmy G. And you think, Jimmy G can't put the team on his back when it needs. He hasn't got that deep ball in. And in the pass-happy league that we're in the NFL, that's what we want to see. Added to Trey's mobility. And I'm not saying he's going to be a run-heavy first. He's not going to be a Justin Fields. You've said that yourself. What we want from Trey is to use his legs to extend the plays. But I believe we'd be in the same position now. It would have been amazing to see Trey with CMC, though. Could you imagine that dynamic and that offense? It would have been amazing.
I personally think that the 49ers may even be better than 6-4. That's just me. Because of his extra dynamics, because the offense was catered and built around him and ready to go for him. They had to kind of switch it up for Jimmy Garoppolo to get back into, you know what I'm saying, like the Jimmy Garoppolo style. But look, it is what it is. I think the 49ers, to answer the question, I would say yes as well. Like I'm going to keep it a buck. I actually think they would maybe have 7 wins opposed to 6 wins, maybe 3 losses opposed to 4 losses. Not too much different. But because the way that the the team was constructed and built. And I think that's my main reason behind that. All right, let's go ahead and open up these phone lines because we got people that are calling in. I want to make sure I got everything. I hope everything is working fine. You know how the computers be. You do a restart and it don't work properly. So we're gonna give it a try. All right, guys. The number is 475-549-7849. We're gonna take the first few callers. We're gonna end this segment in about 20 minutes. So get on the phone, get in here. We're gonna be out by 12 p.m. I promise I won't be keeping you guys that long on this particular segment. And the question is, they already know. What's going on, baby? You are on the WayneBreezie Show. What's going on, D?
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear, brother. Can you guys hear Dion out there? You the first person.
What's going on, Breezy?
Nothing much. You can hear him, Paul?
Yeah, I can hear Dion.
Okay, D, you good. You good to go, bro. Listen,
Yeah,
D, we talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. I already know how you feel. Okay. but some people may not know how you feel. So should the 49ers keep Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'm gonna say this as politely as possible. No.
I want you to say it as Dion as possible.
Oh, you want me to say it? Hell no. Get him out of here. Let me explain something to y'all, okay? We done played the Rams, the Chargers, and the Cardinals. The Rams have been buns. Jimmy always beats them. Everybody knows this.
Mm-hmm.
He always owns the Rams. That's obvious. When we played the Chargers, who were beat up, and they still made it a game. So it wasn't like there was no spectacular show out. Jimmy goes out against the Cardinals, has probably his best game of his 49er career ever, because I don't think we've ever seen him at 4 TDs and no turnovers and or no sacks. So what I want people to do is pump the brakes a little bit, okay? He didn't do nothing crazy. The man ain't, like Paul said, the man ain't put number 6 in the trophy case. And here everybody is all up in arms. Oh, my God, we got to keep Jimmy. We need him. We need this. We need that. No, we don't. Let me explain something to you. Jimmy gave us hope in 2017. And in 2018, he decided to be a running back towards ACL. 2019, we go on a great run from an amazing defense, a spectacular run game. Like, there's a lot of different things that come into play. And then in the playoffs, what happens? Jimmy disappears. We take the ball away from him because we don't trust him. Then you go into 2019, COVID year. Horrible year for us. Then you go into 2021. Everything looks good. When we needed him the most at the end of that game, didn't show up. Like, there are things that happen that people seem to forget, and, they get enamored, like you said, Breezy, with his play as of late. The man had one game, and he only had 228 yards. But, if he threw for, 500 or 600 yards, he had a Patrick Mahomes type game. Yes, I can understand why people would start going crazy. He didn't have that type of game, and we all know who he really is. So my thing is, Steve Young coming out and saying, I want him here for the next 10 years. Steve, look, man, I respect you. You're a 49er legend. You're great. We appreciate what you've done for the franchise. But you can't be contradicting yourself like that. First, you're saying Lance should play and get him up out of here. Next, you're saying we need Jimmy for the next 10 years. We got Debo talking about Emmy Guap and all this stuff. Everybody needs to pump the brakes. The man had one good game. What were his stats against the Rams? What were his stats against the Chargers? He didn't blow out anybody like he did versus the Cardinals. Everybody is, jumping on the train. And I'm telling you right now, you have to be mindful of that with him. With Jimmy, you stay in the middle. You don't get too high. You don't get too low, because you know who he really is. And if you're truly a 49er fan and and you've seen these things over the years, and you're not just one of the people to go, well, he wins. And you really look at the game from an objective perspective, and you open your eyes and you see everything for what it is. I believe, hey, you ride the train as long as you can. It's nice, while it's cool. but every now and then there's going to be some bumps in the road. We might get derailed. We may need some repairs. But if you keep Jimmy, you're going to have to do too much. What I said earlier in the comments when you just put it up and the show wasn't even going was, you give Jimmy a bag, you're handicapping your team. There's no Bosa. There's no Ayuk. There are other players that need to get paid outside of him. And at the same time, has everybody forgotten this man is an unrestricted free agent? He can go where he wants. Somebody's going to throw a ridiculous amount of money that we definitely ain't matching. We have a kid who literally is already on the mend from something that he probably shouldn't even be on the mend from right now. I believe in Trey Lance. I believe in our future. And I believe that he is the future and that he can continue to take us where we need to go. But as far as keeping him, you got to let him go. He's going to get paid elsewhere. If he keeps auditioning like this for other teams, somebody's going to throw a really, really large number at him. We ain't going to be able to keep that. And if Jimmy's smart, he'll take that large number. Now, will he succeed? That remains to be seen. No one knows. But I can tell you this. We're not going to be able to match that because we're already frugal as it is with money. And at the same time, you just don't, you know that the dude, he's not that guy.
Okay.
Like if this was like prime A-Rod or Pat Mahomes as of right now, yeah, I would look and say, hey, Lance, you're going to have to sit, buddy. That's the case.
Okay.
But I can't, knowing what I know about Jimmy and knowing how he works, because he had one good game, I'm not jumping on this gravy train to say he's the greatest thing. I will give him credit because he is playing well. But you need to give me 8 games of consistency of playing like this before I feel like we need to just give up on Trey Lance. And plus, you look ridiculous as a franchise giving up all of that capital for a quarterback. And this is the guy that you wanted to keep all along? Why do that?
All right. Listen, D. I respect your decision. You know, I like to play devil's advocate or not, but I'll keep that off the air because I got to get to these other callers. But I appreciate you for calling in, man, and happy holidays to you, man.
Hey, happy holidays to you. Nothing but love. Hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving out there. To everybody, appreciate you. You know, for having me on. Let me speak my piece. Paul, nothing but love to you, baby. Love to you and the fam, man. Hopefully y'all having a good time out there. But yeah, man, we got to be smart about it. Just remember the bigger picture and don't get sucked into 3 games where he's doing well. Like don't do that to yourself, because then when he has that one game where you're like, oh God. Mindset.
All right, brother. Stay up. Stay
All
faithful.
right, bro.
Peace out.
Peace.
Hey, Paul, he talked about consistency, but I felt like we've been seeing consistency from Jimmy Garoppolo. Like that's the whole purpose of him trending upwards. So I guess there's so much underlying stuff. You know, last time I checked, this is a what have you done for me lately league, and we know what he couldn't do, but he's doing it now. It doesn't matter if it's inferior opponents or not. If it's inferior opponents, he better be beating them by like 50 points, right? I don't know. I just like to play devil advocate. Let's do some of these callbacks. Let's get E Nice on here. We got E Nice, Eddie Lee, CJ Gray in the queue.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, bro. What's going on, man?
Ain't nothing, big dog. What's good with you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm still in a food coma, but I'm slowly coming out of it now that I'm sitting here listening to y'all takes. So I need to get your take on this. I see you in the chat talking, so let me go ahead and let it out.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna run my mouth a little bit. I kind of want to be nice about it. Like I said, we don't win without Jimmy, and then when we do win, we win because of not Jimmy.
It's a fact. That's a fact.
I mean, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback though. I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers and all that good stuff, but somehow he gets the job done, and I think Trey is the man. But I haven't seen that in the full season. Mm-hmm. So where will we go if Jimmy do win the Super Bowl? That's the question I'm thinking in my mind.
That's exactly the question that I'm asking. I didn't put all that in the title because it doesn't fit. But that's the question. Jimmy wins the Super Bowl. That's the question. Should we keep Jimmy Garoppolo? That's what I'm inferring to.
that's a good problem to have. I trying to say a lot of things like, if that York gonna spend that money, let him spend the money, let Trey Lance sit.
And
I don't think Jimmy gonna do another whole year without being injured. So he might even get injured by the 15, 16 game. Then we're gonna need Trey to step up. That's what I said. Don't give. I like all my weapons. Give me all my bullets. You know what I mean? I want them all.
All the ammunition. Yeah.
Yeah, I need it all, homie. So I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
That's the key. That's it, guys. You rather be prepared, right? Have it and not have to use it than not have it, and then all of a sudden you got to go out and find some stray bullets somewhere, some stray ammunition.
Wait, we need another run. Or we need another wide receiver. We didn't pay attention to that before.
Bam. That right there, man. Where's the ding ding? That right there, pause. That right there is everything. I don't think people paying attention to that.
Yeah, I want all the weapons, boy, all the weapons. So just give me it all.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. So it's a good problem to have, is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Good problem. I was gonna say that's something they can figure out. Then, like I said, ain't my money, your money. He can do whatever he wants to with all them billions of dollars.
That's a fact. And you know what? Jed Yorks is willing to spend the money on what he wants.
Then let's do it, baby.
It's his team.
Like I said, Jimmy might not be hurt the whole. I mean, he might not get out. He ain't got through only 1 or 2 seasons, but one season not being hurt.
I got you.
So where's he going if we? You know what I mean? Even if Trey Lance get hurt next season, if we start Trey Lance, if we going to Brock Purdy next season?
Hell no.
Because you got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, well, listen, when Jimmy signed to this team, and I'm going to let you go. I get the other callers on here. When he signed to this team, what was the thing that I said? The 49ers have the best quarterback room in football. Remember me saying something like that?
Yeah.
And it meant, if anything, none of us knew that what was going to happen to Trey Lance was going to happen. But we knew. Kyle Shanahan knew. John Lynch knew. And the fact that Jimmy even said, yes, he did a solid for this organization, even though he's banking on himself, because he knew too.
He's getting money. He's getting that money.
Right. So we knew that there was going to be some inkling of Trey Lance getting injured. Not for this, but we never thought he would be out for the season because of the type of right. And so it's the way Kyle was utilizing him, right? Now, Trey's gone. He's done, right? He's done for the season. You got Jimmy. And it immediately was a relief for me as you know, a fan, a content creator. It was a relief because I knew that the one thing Jimmy Garoppolo could do with this organization and this team is win games. That's what he's known for, right?
He's shown it.
The team wins with Jimmy. So if the team wins with Jimmy and they win the Super Bowl, and you don't have to answer this question, if they win the Super Bowl, do the 49ers bring him back?
It's all about the money.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
That's what Jimmy wants in the money. Like if I was Jimmy, I probably would stay 2-year contract, whatever. You know what I mean? I guess I don't know, but
he'll be a backup though.
Nah, he's gonna have to start. If he gets that contract, he ain't backing up Trey. Trey got to back him up. So that's gonna be. It's gonna be, like I said, it's a good problem to have, but he's not taking $100 million contract to be a backup.
Good point. Listen, E, I hope you had a great holiday. I'm gonna get these other calls on here, man. I appreciate you.
I love you, Breezie. And my man, I forgot your name, but good job, man.
Yes, sir.
Paul.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Logging on your channel, get everything done with you, big Mr. Sir.
Yeah.
49ers Empire. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Peace out. All right, Paul. These are some interesting takes, man. Interesting takes. Your thoughts so far on the first 2 callers?
Well, we all know Dion was only purchasing a single ticket for the Jimmy G hype train. He was not buying a full season ticket. Dion's buying it one stop at a time.
I don't even think Dion is on the trade. He's just he has no choice but to, Alex, it's the only ride that's available and you got to get on it, but you still don't want to. You rather walk. If Dion could walk, he would walk right now.
He's being consistent, Dion. I mean, it's a great problem to have. We're sat here now, Breezy. We never thought we'd be sat here talking about Jimmy Garoppolo as a quarterback. And he's playing some of the best football of his career. It's the fine margins in the NFL. And at the moment, we're coming into a hot streak. This is where we're getting better and better. So I can understand the argument. You've said it many a time. We're all 49ers fans. We want the team to win. But I've come on today thinking we're going to talk about the Saints game. And again, you're looking in the chat and it's the never-ending story of Jimmy Trey. And
Dude,
it's just like...
We're winning games and we're talking about Jimmy and Trey Lance going forward. This is who we are. 49er faithful ride with me. This is what we do. We have no choice because the media wants it that way. Like, that's the way that the media wants it. All right, we got 3 more callers we're going to get up here. All right, so let's get my man CJ on. All right, actually, oops, I hit the wrong button. Let's get my man right here on because he actually called first. It's TC. TC, get ready. CJ Gray, you'll be next. Kenny, you'll close it out.
Breezy, what's up, bro?
C, and the place to be. What's going on, family? Welcome to the WayneBreezie Show, man. Thank you for calling in, bro. Listen, you don't need no introduction. I just want you to go ahead and let him have it. Should the 49ers bring back Jimmy Garoppolo?
No, and I don't even want to touch on here, bro, but no.
You got to touch on it. You can't just say no and not explain it. Touch on it.
Listen. I know, because the reason why I'm saying no is because you don't bring Jimmy Garoppolo back is because that's creating and continuing the clown show that you guys have created. It's not a clown show yet because Jimmy won a couple of games and Trey Lance got hurt, but it was a clown show from the jump, Breezy. I was one of the faithful that didn't agree with signing Jimmy back in the offseason because if you move on to Trey Lance, bro, this is Lance's team that's showing incompetence with the team and the manager and the management and Kyle Shanahan. That's why I'm so off on Kyle Shanahan because I'm like, what kind of decision making are you making? Like, to bring this guy back and you're all in with this kid, but you're like, oh, hey, the guy that we want to get rid of, we're bringing him back as a backup. Oh, but wait, I'm going to run you up the gut 50 times like a fullback. Your ankle gets broke. Now, all of a sudden, oh, we love the guy that we were trying to get rid of. Bro, that's a circus to me. Bringing Jimmy Garoppolo right is a circus no matter how you look at it. If we win a Super Bowl, I'm with Paul. If you win a Super Bowl, let Jimmy move on. It's not about let's bring Jimmy back because we won a Super Bowl and we need a second quarterback. No, nobody else was worried about a backup quarterback like the Niner fans, bro. If this is Lance's team, let him go all in. We have Brock Purdy, and we are bringing somebody else, bro. The third or the second quarterback doesn't have to be Jimmy Garoppolo. If you want a Jimmy Garoppolo, bro, why draft this kid and drag him through the mud? You get what I'm saying? Lance shouldn't even be here, bro. If everybody wanted Jimmy, well, why not keep Jimmy? Why draft this kid and then pump fake? You get what I'm saying? That's my point, Bridgie. It's a hell no. It's a hell no to bring in Jimmy. Yeah, it's a circus.
TZ, I got it. It's a circus. It's a great point. You're spitting some valid information. Like, why invest in a kid if you're gonna continue to keep this guy around? We already know that Jimmy Garoppolo, for some reason this year, he is not getting injured. I mean, that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to win a Super Bowl, right? Paul, did you want to say something on that?
No, I was keeping my fingers crossed when you said for the injury. We do not want to see Jimmy.
I just want to win. I just want to go to a goddamn parade, man. That's it. That's all I'm asking for.
I got you guys.
You know, I just want to go to the parade.
Me too. You get what I'm saying? And Paul and Briggs, not to cut you guys off. Me too, bro. We all want the 6th ring. But just because if we get the 6th ring, bro, that don't mean you bring Jimmy Garoppolo back. You guys we can't lose the sight, the big sight. This is Trey Lance's team. You get what I'm saying?
I got you.
Bringing Garoppolo back and sitting him back on the bench for another year because Jimmy, that's
causing the ongoing circus. That means the circus will be back in town. I got you, bro. I trust me. I got you, T. I got you, TC. Listen, thanks for calling in, man. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. And we'll chop it up with you soon.
We will too, bro. Love you guys.
All right, appreciate you. All right, man. We got some callers. I could tell you I got the phone number in your phone because I cut the phone number off, but I'm gonna get to each and every one of you. Eddie, Lee, get ready, baby. We got Eddie Lee, CJ, my man Kenny, and then Bethel. Eddie, what's going on?
Hello?
What's going on, baby? You on the WayneBreezie Show. How you doing?
What's up, Wayne? What's up, Paul?
Doing good. I'm excited because we're about to play football in a couple of days. Tomorrow I got a big day. Got my Michigan and the Ohio State, so I'm excited about that. I'm more nervous about that than I am about the game on Sunday. But listen, Jimmy Garoppolo is playing well. and he's potentially playing well enough to get the 49ers to the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. If they do win, man, do the 49ers bring this guy back?
Dion and I were chopping it up in the chat back and forth, and my mindset was set on that if the only way we brought him back was if we won a Super Bowl. But when you take all those things in consideration, what everybody's brought up so far, you take in all those consideration of contracts, how much money, if he keeps playing this way, especially if we win a Super Bowl, how much money he could potentially make. You think about Bosa, you think about Ayuk, you think about all these guys that are key factors of this team. And not to say right now Jimmy is not a key. Jimmy is playing very well, but I don't think you bring him back. You've invested too much in this kid, and I'm sorry if you are not excited for the potential of Trey Lance with this offense, with CMC, then something's wrong with you as a 49er fan.
I got you.
Because that is going to be huge.
That we haven't, we haven't done, Eddie? I haven't broken that down onto what Trey Lance's, his purpose is when you have a piece like, I haven't broken it down yet, but I will. He's just not here, so I'm just trying to focus on this season. But the element of Trey Lance and the elements of what he can do, having that option is ridiculous because now he has all the same options. So now for the defense, it's like, oh, shoot, is Trey going to pull it in? Is he going to run? Is he going to throw on the run? Is he going to do this? Or is he going to hand it off? It's so many different things. So that's a whole different element. But we haven't broken it down yet. So they might not be hip to that yet is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and you know what? For this season, for the mindset right now, let's live here and now, right? The mindset right now. Let's say Jimmy's playing well. Let's acknowledge the fact he's playing well. And Dion he did say he's playing well right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing well as long as we keep winning and stacking these wins. And if it is against these quote unquote inferior opponents and he wins like he did against the Cardinals, I'm not worried about next year. Let's worry about right now and getting where we need to be. And that where we need to be is we need to be in the Super Bowl and lifting that Lombardi trophy. That's what we need to worry about right now.
That's fair.
And if that's with Jimmy, I'm okay with that.
That's fair. So my job now, Paul, you just heard Eddie say it. So Uncle Eddie, he said, let's not worry about the future. Let's focus on the right now. So whenever the media puts this out there, it's our job to derail it and focus on the now. All right, we got you, Eddie. I promise.
Because you're gonna have your time, Breezy. We've got a plethora of all you content creators that are amazing. You guys do a great job on here. I envy what you do. It's awesome, and I appreciate it. And we've got all this national media. I said this to Dion in the chat, and he agreed with me. This off season, the media is gonna have a feasting frenzy with this. It's gonna be everywhere. Where he goes, where he doesn't go, where he gets paid. And you know what? I'm enjoying the fact right now that we have a dynamite team.
Good point.
We have a dynamite team, and it is a balanced team, offense and defense. It is good to be a 49er fan right now. Let's enjoy this.
Good point. Good point. Thank you so much for calling in, Eddie. I hope you guys have a happy holidays, man.
You too, brother. I'm still trying to get out of my food coma,
bro.
We're gonna go.
Struggling.
I don't know. We're gonna go.
I don't know what to
hang
eat.
out and.
I don't know what to do. I can't get out of it. It's still stuck. I can't even use the bathroom. Like I'm just done. Like I just want to sit. Woo, I'm gonna get some coffee. That's what I'm gonna go do, man.
And shout out to you, Paul. It's good to see you on here, bro. Man, I'm amazed by how far this faithful fan base reaches, and you guys are awesome. So shout out to the UK. We love you all out there.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, Eddie.
Right.
Stay up, guys. Peace. I love the calls. We're just gonna keep them going, Paul. We'll chop it up after we get everybody on here. We got about 3 more that are in the queue, and then we'll go ahead and close out the show.
Hello,
my man CJ Gray. What's going on, baby?
I'm here, man. Hello, can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear, man.
Because when I answer the phone, whatever reason, I got the Bluetooth on and it defaults to the phone, and I gotta change it to the.
That junk be pissing me off too, yo. I be getting mad. I thought I was the only one that gets mad at stupid stuff. It's not stupid, but it's that type of stuff, right? Because I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm paying the Bluetooth to be right because I spent this. Anyway, I got you, bro. Listen, I want you to touch on this because the one thing that I love about you is you don't hold no punches. You keep it nitty gritty, 1,000%. So we know what we've been talking about. Jimmy Garoppolo's playing well.
Unfortunately.
Give me the CJ Gray version of how the 49ers should handle this situation if it presents itself.
We're in a conflict because the Trey Lance thing, part of drafting Trey Lance was that he had this hyper athletic ability along with his arm. And the thought process was that he'll be able to use his athletic ability while he learns how to play quarterback at the NFL level. And that was going to be the thing that bridged the gap with his inexperience towards becoming more experienced at quarterback. The issue is Trey Lance is not hyper athletic like we all assumed he is. And also the Niners front office assumed he is. And so now you have a guy that you have to really develop purely as a passer and somebody who can scramble if things break down, but you really can't design quarterback runs from him on a consistent basis because he just, from an athletic standpoint, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen his ability to hit the edge with a read option and stuff like that. He didn't even really run read option in college that much. So he don't even have so not only he don't have athleticism, he don't really have the feel for when to keep it and when to hand it off. And so really you're looking at development as a passer. His short, quick game is not to be desired at this point. So you're looking at, I would say 15, 20 games of developing him as a passer. And you're going to lose a lot of games while doing that. And now you might get to the end of that 20 games, get through his development process, and he turns out to be a good quarterback. But if he's not a top 5 prospect after taking that step back, it's just hard for me. And the way the players feel about Jimmy in the locker room and his veteran presence, it's hard for me to go with the plan of going to Trey Lance and moving off of Jimmy based on those circumstances. The only circumstance but when you look at the other hand of the decision, if you keep Jimmy, now you might potentially lose good players. And now we know Jimmy is not good enough to carry a team with lesser than talent. So that's why I say that we're just kind of in a quandary right now about what to do after this season.
Very good takes, man. Very good takes. Very, 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 very well takes. I felt like they were really well thought of. Look, I don't even know how to push back. I want to push back on a couple of things that you said, but I'm not sure how to say it right now. So I'm just going to leave it alone and let you take ride, bro. Like, because the thing with Trey Lance is he doesn't have the, what do you call it? The resume. Okay, so he hasn't had the time to develop. So I know we're saying he can't do this, he can't do this, he can't do that. But you know what? There are plenty of things Trey Lance can do well. You want to know the thing that he does really well? Play action, mother freaking pass. That's what he ran in college. He faked the handoff and got the ball down the field to somebody wide open because he can read progressions. But you know what? Kyle Shanahan wasn't trying to do that. And therefore, you're watching this kid struggle and trying to do something that he's learning. So Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, was developing Trey Lance to run the read option, to run this. And that's why we were seeing it more and more and more. Unfortunately, he just got hurt and doing it.
But when you look at the West Coast offense,
it's not a West Coast. Kyle Shanahan isn't just running the West Coast. We got to get that out of our head, yo. It's not just the West Coast offense. There are elements from the West Coast offense. There are elements from the things that his dad adapted from the West Coast offense. But there's only one West Coast offense, bro. That's Bill Walsh, and he gone. Like that's it. That whole, it's all derivative from that. Kyle's adding something totally different. He didn't even run this West Coast. He ran more of a run and shoot offense in Atlanta based off of the people that he had. It's not just there are elements from it. I think we're getting elements from it. And then whatever Kyle is trying to implement into the game, like that's what we're getting. It's a whole new style of offense, bro. It's not just
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree with there to an extent, but that the foundational
the foundation
function
is
of this
West. I got
offense
you.
is the West Coast offense.
I got you.
And what I mean by that is the quick strike passing game.
That's
And especially now that you got CMC and you got that running back like the Roger Craig from the late 80s. You got that element in your offense. So you want somebody who can get the ball out of their hands quickly, on timing, with rhythm, to hit guys in stride, to run after the catch. And Trey Lance is more of a downfield thrower of the football.
Good point.
And I mean, I like Trey Lance, and I like him a lot, and I would like for him to be the quarterback. But I can't be stuck in my biases when I discuss things. And right now, I see a project. I see somebody that's going to have to develop. And if you look at the other teams that's got these 2021 quarterbacks, for the most part, they're struggling. And when you got a team full of veterans, they don't seem to have the mindset to want to go through that struggle.
Okay.
And then you don't know what the end result is going to be after you go through that struggle. You have a thought process of what that may look like, but you don't know. And so when you got Jimmy in there, you just know what you're going to get out of him. Now, I don't have a total sweeping judgment on it because I like to see the rest of the season play out. I like to make sure to see Jimmy be healthy. I like to see Jimmy not go back to doing Jimmy stuff, like throwing it to the other team and not throwing the ball away and getting rattled in the pocket and turning the ball over, because that person still can be there. And if he does all the Jimmy stuff from the past, then this conversation is not much of an in-depth conversation as this has been during the course of this chat and during the course of this show.
All right. Hey man, CJ, you know, whenever you call, there's always going to be a little pushback. I just got to figure out where to get it. But I appreciate you for calling in, bro.
All right, man.
All right, man. Be safe, man. I had to kind of like figure out where was I going to try to attack my bro? Because he comes with these really great points, Paul. And then it's more like, now I got to figure out how I'm going to get it in. Before we keep the show going, let's keep it going. I got to give the Foghorn in. We got a new member, Tony 49er, man, 843, man. Thank you so much for your membership to the channel. We truly appreciate you. We hope you enjoyed the comment. Make sure you hit that like button. All right. And we truly appreciate you. And my man Tommy out there, Tommy Huxley with the contribution. Thank you so much, bro. He says that this game might be a trap game. Paul, I'm gonna let you answer that one. Is this a trap game? Because we always it's trap game time.
Well, you can see why people think like that after the way we played against the Falcons, the way we played against the Bears. It's right to approach this game. For some reason, Breezy, this year we seem to play down to the opposition, which is what I'm worried about. I mean, personally, I'd love to see a rematch of the 2019 game, and it was the 48-46 last-second field goal, the thriller in New Orleans. But I think we win this one, but I don't think we blow them out like we blew the Cardinals. So you just hope Kyle's got the team ready. They've come off a short week. Coming from Mexico, Thanksgiving in the middle. The good news is we're at home. They're pretty beat up. So I'll always call the 49ers win, Breezy. You know me better than that, brother. So I'm not saying anything other than a Niners win, but I do think it might be closer than people think.
I got you, bro. This game better not be close. All right, here we go. Kenny, get ready. We got Kenny, we got my man Bethel, and then my man Gammon, and we're going to close out the phone segment.
Hello.
It's Kenny time, everybody. The DC legend is in the building. Let's go. What's going on, baby?
Oh, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, man, everything is everything, man. You know, we got Paul from across the pond. We've been talking about this Jimmy Garoppolo situation. It shouldn't be a situation, what Eddie Lee said. It shouldn't even be a situation. But when you get legends and talking heads in the media that are enamored by what Jimmy's done in one game, like it's
man.
Go ahead. You got it. I don't even got to set you up.
It's really pissing me off, honestly, because I understand Jimmy playing well, but now y'all pushing the narrative, man, that Jimmy win the Super Bowl. What that mean for Trey? Like, come on, man. Y'all was just trying to kick this man out the door. Like what is we talking about?
Right.
Jimmy, it's really no difference from what he done last year. He just playing. I say the difference is Brian Greasy must have him on like some type of high because he definitely is. He's stepping up in the pocket more. He looks more serviceable than what he did from past years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, like, okay, say we do win the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo is 31 years old. How long are we going to extend him for?
Paul said 3 years, right? Paul? 2 to
3
3
years?
years?
It was one of the other callers said 2 years, $100 million.
Oh, somebody said
Be
2.
looking
Paul's
at
like,
it.
I ain't say that shit. I didn't say
My DMs will be going through the roof after this. You said.
Now somebody said 2 to 3 years. It might have been
Okay,
nice.
2 to 3 years.
Mhm.
If we extended him for 3 years, that's when Trey's contract is up.
You're
This is
preaching.
second year.
That's what they need to hear. They need to hear this. That means
This is second year.
this
So in 3 years,
and that's with the 5th year
Trey's
option.
contract is up.
That's with the 5th year option. It's up in 4
Yeah.
years, but the
Yeah,
but the
you know what I'm
49ers
saying?
can offer him the 5th year option.
You're right. With the 5th year option, Trey's contract is up. And after his contract is up, is he unrestricted or is he a restricted free agent?
He'll be unrestricted.
So if I'm Trey, I'm gone.
You getting the hell out of Dodge.
I'm gone.
Unfortunately, he won't. Oh man, damn! I didn't even think about it like this. Unfortunately, Kenny, if he hasn't played, he won't make any money.
Exactly. My
So
point
it's like
exactly.
the
So
but
he
it's
got to,
so it's like the
he got to
49ers
try
might
to-
be Jimmy Garoppoloing him. Hey man, Trey,
Yeah.
you ain't played, so you want to come back here for $5 million?
Nah,
backup?
I mean, like if I'm Trey, I'm not coming back.
I hear you.
That's me personally.
I hear
That's
you.
my opinion on it.
No, I hear
I'm
you.
Trey, I'm not coming back.
I hear you.
But that's just how I'm feeling from all this buzz going on, which is it's throwing me off for real.
Yeah.
No, me personally, you don't keep Jimmy. I didn't think we should have kept him this year because it allowed Trey to use him. I mean, it allowed Shanahan to, you know what I'm saying, to feature him too much in the running game. You feel me?
That has to change going forward.
Yeah, and I looked at it like this, like, you know, when Jimmy Garoppolo was out last year, he didn't run Trey much because Trey was his only hope.
Mhm.
So if you move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, you're not going to do what you did this season. You're going to let him develop as a passer, and then you let him gradually work his mobility skills into being a better quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I always thought we should have got rid of Jimmy, but it's good to see Jimmy Garoppolo playing good football.
Look, I thought that they should have moved on from Jimmy Garoppolo because if you're going to start a new chapter, you get rid of the old stuff.
Yeah, like
And they tried.
like
They tried.
I
Kenny.
had a whole little theory on this, man. All right, man. You know what? Man, you wasted this first contract was the Jimmy Garoppolo contract.
Mhm.
The second contract is the Trey Lance contract.
Got you.
I felt like this team it's like we can't move forward. It's like we take 2 steps forward and then we get knocked back like 3 steps back. And we end up right in the same place where we started from. We just can't move forward. And sometimes, man, you just gotta be like, man, F this. Let's move forward, and you know what I'm saying. Let's get this future train rolling.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Maybe the injury bug would league if you could get rid of some players who that you just let players walk that's injured. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you just got to let him go,
on
right?
it.
Sometimes you just
Yeah,
got to
you gotta
let
him go,
just gotta
man.
let him go.
It's nothing personal. You feel me?
I do feel you. Sometimes you just got to walk away and let him go. You gotta let him
gotta let him
go.
go,
I'm on my
man.
Usher.
You can't keep.
Felt like it was Elsa from
You can't
Frozen
keep
for a minute
holding.
there.
You can't keep. You can't keep holding on to the what if, man.
Well, the thing is this, right? And I'm gonna let you go because I got to get the other callers on here. But here's the thing: if Jimmy gets over the playoff hump, if Jimmy gets us back to the Super Bowl, we got to revisit this conversation. That's the only way we're going to revisit the conversation. If he gets us back to the Super Bowl, I promise you and everybody out there watching that we will not have this conversation unless Jimmy gets the 49ers back to the Super Bowl. Fair?
Fair.
Fair.
But look. All right, the last 3 Super Bowl champions, right? What did they all have in common?
Patrick.
They had a quarterback
Yes.
who played lights out in the playoffs.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If Jimmy can do that,
Mm-hmm.
we will win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all I got, man. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you, bro.
I was late on the show.
It's all good.
So I mean, I had to get in, speak my piece, say what's up to the fam.
It's all love.
Me?
It's all love, man.
And I had to say happy holidays to y'all.
Same to you and your family, brother. Thank you for calling in, Kenny.
Thanks, bro.
Peace. We got a couple of more callers we got to get to, guys. Guys, you love the call-in shot. I really love the show. Like, Paul, I hope you don't mind being here. We just sitting here listening to the people spiel, but they want to get some stuff off their chest, Paul.
No, it's great. Yours is the only one where I do something like this. Normally, it's just like in the comments. So for me, it's fantastic. Before you move on, someone's put a comment in there asking me if I'm scared about the soccer game because it's England versus America. I don't do soccer, Breezy. After this, I'll be watching some more game. No, NFL for me, 49ers. So after this, I'll be watching some more game tape and I'll be getting ready for the game. I haven't watched any of the World Cup. I don't do soccer anymore. I'm NFL. I'm 49ers.
That's what I'm talking about. We got a super chat contribution from Ayatollah of Crowd Talk and Roller. Oh, Rock and Roller. Whatever. The name is fire, though. Do you have music out? Because I would buy it. Like, the name just sounds fire. It says, not a Niners fan, but a lifelong Denver Broncos fan. And we wish we had someone like Jimmy G the last several years. Again, he is not premier, but a pretty good QB. While it looks like Russell Wilson, and he wouldn't even spell out his name, RW is going to be a bust for us. Have a good one. Listen, love the name too. Ayatollah of Kraut Rock and Roller. That name is fire. Appreciate the contribution. Yo, this is deep. Because now you got other fan bases saying that they rather have a guy like Jimmy. And we were trying to trade him to some of these teams that we felt like needed quarterbacks, but the teams passed on Jimmy Garoppolo. You get what I'm saying?
A lot of the conversations I have are with other fans about Jimmy, and they don't like Trey, and it's about Jimmy. Like you said there, you know, what did they give Russell Wilson? $250 million, however many years, and you've got a Broncos fan dropping a super chat coming on your show saying, give us Jimmy. Get rid of Mr. Unlimited. Give us Jimmy.
He gave me 0.01% of that Russell Wilson's contract. He super chatted like 0.1% of that contract. But no, seriously, that's we know Jimmy is good. We understand that. Like, we're not saying that he's bad. We're just saying that we also know that Jimmy can't win the big game because he has failed. And so the question is, can he win that big game? And if he does, do we keep him? We got 2 more callers, guys. Don't leave us yet. Bear with us. We're almost done. I promise you guys are going to get back to your Black Friday shopping.
Hey, what's up, Breezy?
What's going on, Bethel? What's going on, family? How you doing?
I'm good.
Are you out driving? Sounds like you're out.
Nah, I'm actually inside the house.
Okay, so listen, man, you know what we're talking about. We're going to finish up this segment. We got you and one more person. We're going to close out this segment. Should the 49ers keep Jimmy Garoppolo?
No.
Okay.
We should not keep. No, people don't remember what his agent did to us, what he did to us. You know, and that's why people didn't want to trade for him. I go, and then plus, if he does win the Super Bowl, how many teams are not gonna pay him a lot of money? We're not gonna be betting, with other teams to keep him. He's gonna want a lot of money. That's why this contract that he did benefited him, because if he's doing what he's doing right now, he's just thinking about the money that he's gonna get. Why he's gonna want to come back to an organization that did him the way we did good by him, but he actually did bad by us too.
I forgot about that. I kind of forgot that
Yeah,
Jimmy came out of nowhere with this damn injury.
yeah,
Not the injury,
that's
with
why
the
we couldn't
surgery. I'm
trade
sorry.
him.
Yeah. He sabotaged the team in trading him. I got you, bro. Listen, sometimes we just need to be reminded.
We want a player like that? We don't want a player like that.
But you know what makes it hard, though, Beto, is the fact that you got CMC saying Jimmy can make all the throws. That motherfucker can't make all the throws. CMC, what?
No.
He's missing throws. He's missing reads still. Can't make
all the throws. I don't know how many times I see him throw the ball really high and the players have to go and get it and they catch it. If he will throw a good pass, and I know Trey
he
Lance
almost got George Kittle killed last week too, by the way. Just want to put that out there. Okay.
And CMC too. When GMC had to jump high,
good
I'm
point.
like,
good point.
Why is he doing that? He's just right there. You just throw it and he catches it. That's it.
He's just right there.
I could even do it, and I'm not a quarterback.
He had some decent throws though, but there are still some balls that are questionable. I got you.
Yeah,
he said he right there.
And then plus, how many teams right now could have more wins and could be in the playoffs?
They
have Garoppolo.
Listen, they smacking themselves right now.
They're smacking themselves.
They're smacking themselves right now. I can name 5 teams smacking themselves, and the team we're gonna play on Sunday is one of them.
Yeah. So and then plus, whatever happening with the Jets, you don't know. The Jets might pick up Jimmy G.
That's a good point.
Say the hell with their quarterback because of what happened.
See, I personally think that wherever DeMeco goes, Jimmy's going. Both Jimmys will be with DeMeco Ryans next year. How about that? That's my hot take. That's my hot take.
Yeah. Sure.
Both Jimmys, Ward and Garoppolo, they're both free agents. DeMeco will take that veteran quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, and then he'll go ahead and get his free safety to help solidify that defense, veteran. And then he could continue to build. Because with the one thing you got to learn about the 49ers, and I don't know if everybody's paying attention to what they're doing, them trading for Jimmy Garoppolo was good because it was able to get them into winning, right? So it kind of accelerated the process. Hear me out. Accelerated the process of the 49ers winning, right? They got to an NFC championship. They got to a Super Bowl first, right? So that helped accelerate it. Then Jimmy started getting injured a lot. And so the 49ers were like, you know what? We got too much money tied into the quarterback right now. We need to continue to build this roster, right? They went out and traded for Trent Williams, had to pay him a lot of money. George Kittle, they extended, gave him a lot of money. All these players that they were able to bring in that they felt were staples to their community, to their team, their organization, they're paying. Deebo Samuels, a lot of money. Brandon Ayuk, 2 years, a lot of money. Like, you get what I'm saying? And so the reason why they're doing that and the reason why they're able to do that is because they decided to draft a quarterback. Now, did they have to trade up to get it? Yes. But they were able to get this kid to where, guess what? He ain't going to get paid for another 3 years. So now we can continue to stockpile and build the team. That's why I said, when I asked Paul earlier on the show, could the 49ers still be winning with Trey Lance here if he wasn't injured? He said yes. And I'm like, you're right. The team is built. So Jimmy's going to go to a place where the team is pretty much going to be built around, or they can continue to build around him. And I think that's where Jimmy's going to end up. And I think it's going to be with DeMeco. It's going to keep it a buck.
Yeah. And then plus another thing that people should realize is that, that's one thing I hear about Kyle, that he's trying to be a control freak. If Kyle will let him go off course when he has to, then, it will be a different player, because Bill Belichick said, I wouldn't use Jimmy that way. I would have used Jimmy some other way.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you want to keep a player with their, the way he should have utilized Trey was, okay, throw the ball. If something breaks down, then run away and try to make a play. Only do that when the play breaks down. Don't do it just to run the ball. You're not gonna get far if you do that, and he probably learned that in the second game.
Mm-hmm.
So, let the playmakers, make their plays. Let them, do what they have to do to win the game. I think I was watching the highlights for all the teams, and I heard a coach say to their quarterback, "Hey, if you see a breakdown and you see something better, take it. You take it. That's how you talk to your quarterback, because that's how you put trust in your quarterback.
Good point.
Instead of keeping them limited and not let them do what he wants to do."
Good point. Good point. Listen, Beto, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it, man. I love your takes on this situation. I got one more caller I got to get to because we got to get Paul out of here. It's late over there, and we got to get on up out of here. But listen, I appreciate you, and I hope to see you Sunday for the game.
Hopefully, I think I'm probably going to the game.
Nice. I'll be there next week.
It's gonna be my birthday this Sunday,
hey!
So I want to be there.
Hey, I'll do a show on Sunday.
If it doesn't, then I'll watch it at home. But
all right. Well, on Sunday
show,
we'll make
like
sure we
always,
wish you a happy birthday, bro.
Hit the like, and glad to meet you, even though you're far away. But it's always good to have 49 fans everywhere.
If you go to the game on Sunday, look out for the 49er Faithful UK flag, because there's about 10 of my UK fans have made the journey over. So we want everybody who sees the flag to see them. So if you're at the game, go over and say hello, man.
And take some pictures, man. Appreciate you, Beto. Thank you, man.
I will.
Peace out.
Peace out.
All right, we got one more caller we're going to get to in a second. I just want to touch on Jan's comment. She says, Wayne, they said the same thing about Salah, and Jimmy's going to go to the Jets. And what happened? Well, he drafted a quarterback. That was it. And I didn't think he should have did that. I will go on record and say that was the worst move he probably could have made, because the moment he drafted his guy, it had started his clock on his coaching. Like, meaning that, look what Kyle, everybody's like, if Trey Lance is a bust, well, guess what? Kyle's got time now because Trey Lance got hurt. He ain't playing right now. So Kyle's got more time on his clock is paused. His clock, though, Salah's clock started. And look what happened. Who's gotten benched? Which means they should have did that. They should have took and signed or traded for Jimmy Garoppolo. But no one want to listen to Breezie because he don't know what the hell he's talking about. It would have been the best thing for him because he could have continued to build his team. Oh, well, Salah. You snooze, you lose, dog. Good luck with Zach Wilson. All right, one more caller, and we are out because I want to go to the stoves. Here we go, Gammon. You ready? We be gammon. We'll be gammon.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
GB, what's going on, baby?
No, man, not too much. Just excited to be here, and then hopefully we can end this show with some great content, but not just great perspective, but also to shape it into great context is kind of what I'm looking to do. What I want to do is I want to kind of highlight a couple comments that kind of came from some fellow viewers.
Sure.
Shout out to everybody right now if you can. Hit the like, subscribe button. Also, to join the Discord in the description. But what I wanted to start off with was Raphael 562 Niners. So you're not going to be able to see this. This was kind of far back, but he said, "Let's be real. Jimmy G won't be a 49er next season." And I really agree with that. And I'm going to come back to that in a second. There's a reason why I said that. And then another comment by this guy said, "Jimmy healthy still is a liability, and that's a lock." And then JM617 said, "Fans act like sitting a year equals another Mahomes," right? So I kind of want to touch on all three of these things because I think that they all kind of correlate to the same premise of Jimmy not coming back. Look, if Jimmy wins a Super Bowl, it doesn't matter if he wants to come back to the 49ers for $5 million a season or $6 million a season. He has superstar agents who they want their money too, right? They want their cut. They're like real estate agents. You know, you sell a house for $300,000, they want that 10 to 15%, right? So that's that cut that eats into what's on the plate. So the agents aren't just going to do quote unquote what's best for Jimmy and what's best for the 49ers. They're going to do what's best for their pockets as well, right? Everybody wants as much spinach as they can get. The other thing too is if Jimmy wins a ring, the only thing he's got really left is money. The only thing he's got left is money. You know, he's already got his ring. We all know he's 31, going to be turning 32. He's not going to be a Hall of Fame. So the man may as well go out and get his money. He doesn't need to do himself a disservice for his pocketbook or anybody else, right? And really that just comes down to we all fall victim to remembering the last image or taste that was left in our mouths, right? Jimmy last season, prior to the Titans game, was actually playing, in my opinion, for Jimmy, was playing very, very well. And then, like this guy said, Jimmy healthy is still a liability, and that's like we're forgetting about this. Like, yeah, he's playing well right now, but once he gets the smallest of injuries, his ability he goes from 100% Jimmy to down to like 65% Jimmy. Like he's already a limited quarterback who self-limits himself very quickly once he's injured, right? And he's playing great right now, but only because he's not dealing with an injury. Another example of this is McGlinchey. His play was elevated last year. He's a large land mammal who basically ripped his hamstring off the bone. It really could have ended his career, but he's playing admirably for a player coming back from a serious injury. In fact, if there was, hey, who should be getting a comeback player of the year award on the 49ers, it should be McGlinchey. Brunskill is coming back from an injury. He's still trying to win his starting job, but McGlinchey took back his starting job, right? So, sometimes we give too much props to some people and sometimes we don't give enough props to others. I'm really tired of the McGlinchey hate. That man has been through a lot, but that man plays his butt off every single game. And then another thing I want to say is I never ever assumed nor believed that Lance is a super speedy quarterback. Actually, when we drafted him, I got killed by my fellow fans when I said, I tried to warn everybody that he doesn't have the speed to get to the outside edge. Kind of like what CJ was trying to say, West Coast offense or the outside zone, right? And what I was kind of looking at, and I put this on, shout out to the Discord, but I put this on the Discord. I also, too, I emailed this to WayneBreezie, probably April or May of this year. But props to you, Breezy. You're one of the few streamers out here who actually look at fan mail, and you read it and you said, man, this is good. Keep working on your craft. And that really gave me a big boost. But anyways, one of the articles I wrote way back then was I was talking about the 49ers 2021 run scheme had an up thrust in power and a downshift in zone runs. And that was something that I was trying to, because I had an argument with a fellow fan who was saying like, hey, we kind of have the same amount of like inside and outside zone run schemes. And my feeling was, I felt it was because of a big change in the rules, right? The cut block rule. Also, too, I was trying to find a team that went through a similar transition of going from an outside zone team to becoming more of like an inside zone team. And the only comparison that I found that was favorable, who also, too, came from the 49ers coaching tree, was the 2013 Packers, right? And McCarthy, when Coach McCarthy was doing that. And one of the people who we got was Eddie Lacy. And I don't want to bore everyone with his details, but if you look at Eddie Lacy's measurables, then you look at Tyrion Davis-Price and then Jordan Mason, it's uncanny how similar all of them are. And in my article I wrote, it's a lot easier to find the Jordan Mason or the Eddie Lacy's of the world versus the Frank Gores, right? Like every running back, but we always try to compare to Frank Gore, and I just don't think that's really fair nor wise. But when I looked at that, I was like, who's a better outside zone running quarterback, right? Fields or Lance? I'm going to say, for outside zone, Fields has the speed to kind of get through there. Now, who's got more power in between the tackles, right? Fields or Lance? And I'm going to say Lance. And, you know, look, yes, here's the thing. Kyle Shanahan is going to run his quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
When it's 4th and 1, I know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be a quarterback sneak with the sneak god, aka Jimmy Garoppolo. Give the man his flowers. He does some things well that we just think is a given, but I watch other teams do that, and it's not the same. Also, too, another thing I've been saying since day one is I think that Lance is going to become the best quarterback in this class. Notice I didn't say the most skilled quarterback. Notice I didn't say the most athletic quarterback. I think that he has the highest acumen to play positional football.
That's the key. That's why he was drafted. That's why he was drafted, and that's why they spent the capital. That's right. It. That's the key.
Right, and the reason why I say that is because I look and I watch a lot of Justin Fields' games, and what he's able to do is nothing short of brilliant.
It's phenomenal.
But one of the things is, you know, and I encourage everyone to do this, right? Don't just stay saturated in just your one sports market, right? Go over to and see because we're overly critical with how we judge these players. That's because we're only focused on them. Go see how Bears fans are thinking about it. You know, one of the problems that they have with Fields, even after all these years, and he's started way more games than Lance has, is that the pocket awareness still isn't there, right?
Thanks.
You know, you're looking at who is the Zach Wilson, right? The pocket awareness, just getting through plays, reads, just he's trying to instill Superman that, you know, and it's just like, damn. When I look, and anybody can do this because the tape doesn't lie and the film is out there. So if you think I'm blowing smoke up your skirt, here's where it is, right? If you look at from some of his early games to where he is now, you're starting to see that he's making the right reads. It's taking him a little bit longer to get through there, right? That extra tick that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't need. It's just so what that tells me is it's just experience. All that matters to me is that he's making the right plays and he feels the pressure in the pocket and he climbs the pocket or steps up and does what he needs to do and keeps his eyes downfield and his feet moving. And he's doing that. It's just, right now it's repetition, and that's all that he needs. Now, if you want me to be like, hey, you're saying all these great things about Lance, what's a fault that he has that you don't particularly like? Well, one fault is that he isn't as loud audibly as the rest of the class or even Jimmy Garoppolo. If you look at the film, you can hear Jimmy Garoppolo belting out the cadence, the plays, right? Getting the hut 1, hut 2, getting all that out. You can hear that loud. When you put on a tape of Lance, I don't know if it's because he's such a nice guy or he's still working on his, you know, command presence, right? His leadership presence, but he's just not loud. But Lance can make all the throws. The only thing where I'm going to say Trey Lance is a bust is if there is such a divide in talent and in quarterback play where you're going like, wow, Lance is to Mitch Trubisky what Fields is to Patrick Mahomes. And I don't think that there's going to be that serious of a divide between play and talent overall between them. So I'm not as worried about it as a lot of people are. When I look at the reason why Jimmy Garoppolo also too won't be back, right? Raphael 569 said, let's be real, Jimmy G won't be in Niners next season. There was 2 weeks ago, there was a reporter who asked, Jimmy, does it seem like the other team knows that you're only going to make plays kind of over the middle, or they know we're going to throw the ball? And he said, and he got shook. He wasn't ready for that. And he said, yeah. And then he went to then just talk, we're kind of like political talk where they're saying something but not saying anything. But he was like, yes. And the reason why is, do you guys remember the game Tetris?
Yes.
Right. And if you remember, there's that one T shape in Tetris, yep. Right? Where and if I were to put that on the line of scrimmage, that's where Jimmy Garoppolo really throws the ball, right? It's either horizontally left or right on the line of scrimmage, or that one vertical line kind of right up the middle. Even that nice play that Jimmy Garoppolo made to George Kittle, he danced around a little bit and then he kind of lollipopped through it to George Kittle on that same Tetris T-shaped line right there. That's all that you're getting. He's not pushing it out left and right. Like when I was watching the Vikings yesterday, I was going like, man, Kirk Cousins should be playing well. He's got Adam Thielen. He's got Justin Jefferson. He's got Dalvin Cook to throw to. Look at Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, Jimmy, you should be doing well. You've got a Pro Bowler at basically every level on this team, top 3 in their position. At worst or best, it shouldn't be that difficult. And I'm also too going to say this. What was interesting, right? Because shout out to all the people who are in the military. I'm in the military too. I hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving. But what's neat about going hang out with like a whole bunch of people right in the military is that everyone's not. I'm hanging out with people who I'm the only 49ers fan in that house, right? And when we were watching Thanksgiving football, and this is where I'm going to, guys, is Trent tipping plays. What I did was I was like, hey guys, I'm going to watch a couple plays, and I bet for the rest of this game, for the Cowboys game, for the Vikings game, I'm going to be able to tell everybody what play is being ran. Like I'm going to test the theory. And you know what I did was then I gave them all a spiel after I was able to do that for 5 plays straight. I said, here's how you guys are going to be able to tell, right? Some of them don't even watch NFL. They watch college. That's their main thing, right? That's in their bag of swag. I told them exactly, hey, this is the stance, 2 stances that you're looking for. Can you call it? And then they started predicting it just the same. I was like, everybody's doing this. This isn't just a Trent thing.
Thank you.
Right? Everybody is doing this, because if you do not get in the proper stance, Micah Parsons or whoever is going to eat that
because
ass
the, because
up, like
because
you are
of the
going to get
speed,
destroyed.
because of the speed of these edge rushers, right? It's because of the speed of the edge rushers, because the game has changed. They're not big and fast anymore. Now they're small, still as powerful, still as strong, but as fast. I watched Micah Parsons play last night, and he put that left tackle on he just ran by him, like literally. I'm just still gonna go around you because you're not as fast as I am. So yeah, it's something like you're saying that they have to do. Trent is smart enough to do it, and you still got to try to beat him with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just an extra tool in the toolbox.
Absolutely. And one of my final points here was as far as me recommending that other people go to other teams, streamers, or podcasters, you're going to also to really recognize the talent that a lot of the 49ers streamers and podcasters have. It's very competitive here. If I were to pick up WayneBreezie and I were to put him into, let's say, and I did, because I went before the beginning of the season, I went to a lot of the Saints streamers and podcasters. Just his energy, his attitude, everything like that, just his gumption, right? For WayneBreezie, if I were to pick him up and pluck him and say, hey, no longer covering the 49ers, you're covering the Saints, he would immediately be in like number 1 or number 2 as far as the Saints. And it's, I'm telling you guys, if you go there and watch it, that's how it's going to be. So I say this to say, I went to other teams' podcasts and streams, and I don't know if it was like arrogance or ego, but I tried to make sure that when I typed it out, it didn't come off as smug. But I wanted to see, how they felt, if they felt silly that their organization passed on the chance to trade for Jimmy, right? So I went to the Panthers podcast, right? Because I knew that Matt Rule really needed Jimmy Garoppolo. I was like, there's one team that really needs to trade for Jimmy. Matt Rule needs to do this to save his job. They need an adult. They don't want a child, right? And they were like, oh no, man, it's all good. You keep him. We don't want Jimmy. And I was like, well, what do you guys think about seeing how well Jimmy's doing playing with your old running back, right? Like, we have a couple pieces that you guys could have had, our combo of Jimmy and CMC, that could have been your guys' combo with Jimmy and CMC. And one of their things that they said that they replied back was just like, hey, look, Jimmy's just got way more weapons over there provided than we do. And I looked at that and I said, honestly, if I'm going to look at that with Kirk Cousins, with Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, like, I mean, damn, dude, Jimmy, it's true. I mean, you win a Super Bowl ring. Do I put that all on you, or do I just say, hey, great job, only following your Tetris T-shaped ability to throw on the field and just hitting guys that are within that, right? Like, we're not stretching the field, So that's just kind of where I'm at. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to come back. And remember, even with him having no ability outside to really leverage or try and get himself a contract, he had to get himself a incentive-laden based contract. So in other words, like without a doubt, he thinks he's in the 16 to 20 plus mil a year stratosphere. Like if he wins, he's not coming back. But we do have to remember that in another article I wrote, I said that Jimmy Garoppolo, no matter what, is worth a third-round pick, and that was during this offseason. And if he leaves and we don't get, we're going to get compensation for that, right? Because it's going to go off of pay. And I think someone is going to give him money because there's going to be more coaches on the hot seat. But other than that, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to kind of come on and spit out another monologue. And I appreciate you guys' time and join the Discord. Thank you, Breezie.
I appreciate you.
And thank you, Paul.
Well,
thank you so much for being here, man. And listen, whenever you're on here, you got the clock, man. You got the time, bro. We sit back and listen. So we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
All right,
Peace. All right, man. Listen, what a great show. And we're not done. We got one more caller. All right. And then I promise we're going to close out the show. Paul's going to take us home.
Hello?
What's going on, ED?
Hey, Breezie, my man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I hope your Thanksgiving was a great one.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Same for you. I hope you have a good time.
Sure enough, still full. All right. So listen, you wanted to call in. You already know what we're talking about. Close this segment out. Gammon gave us a nice, you're like, close it out. Here we go. What you got?
All right. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. So, listen, Jimmy G's been playing great. It's hard. You can't really argue. Last game he had 4 touchdowns. You can't really argue he's been playing great at the moment. But, you got to put it into context. For the I know yesterday was Thanksgiving, but for all the Jimmy Garoppolo fans, this is kind of like Christmas because this is the best he's played in his entire career. Jimmy Garoppolo just completed 3 straight games without an interception. That's the first time he's ever done that in his entire career. I just want everyone to think about that for a second, okay? So if you want to say like, oh, this is the Jimmy Garoppolo that we've always seen, no. That is not correct. That is not accurate. We have never seen this Jimmy Garoppolo. It's literally never happened where he's gone 3 straight games without an interception.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got to give him credit. He's playing well. He also, in my opinion, he has the best weapons around him that he's ever had in his entire career. I think, especially with the addition of Christian McCaffrey, the emergence of Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk is having a breakout season. George Kittle is still George Kittle. You talk about Trent Williams, Pro Bowl left tackle. People like to also forget there's another Pro Bowler that we don't ever really talk about that much. Kyle Juszczyk, 6-time Pro Bowler.
Talk about it.
So he's completely surrounded by talent. The defense has been playing great, with the exception of the game against the Chiefs. But that's the Chiefs. There's a lot of defenses who are going to have their worst game of the season against the Chiefs. That to me, I still think the 49ers can beat the Chiefs if they make it to the Super Bowl. I still think if they can get ahead, the 49ers are built to play with the lead. If they can get ahead of the Chiefs, establish the running game, get the pass rush after Mahomes, I think it could be a different story. I don't think it's a guaranteed, like whenever these two teams play, it's going to be a blowout. So I still think they can beat the Chiefs. But as far as Jimmy Garoppolo, yeah, he's playing good. But you got to put it into context. He is playing good, which means other teams are going to have interest in him too. You already mentioned earlier in the show, there were a couple teams that might have interest in him. And every year it seems like there's other situations that you don't really realize ahead of time that just kind of come up. Like for instance, every year Aaron Rodgers talks about how, oh, this might be last year, maybe I'm going to retire. Well, what if Aaron Rodgers retires this year? And what if the Packers say, hey, we don't really know about Jordan Love? Well, they might be making an offer on Jimmy Garoppolo. Tom Brady, he might say, okay, man, I'm 45 years old. I had enough of this. The Buccaneers aren't looking that great. Well, if Tom Brady retires, Tampa Bay could be in the market for a quarterback. The Jets just benched Zach Wilson.
They did.
The Giants seem to be winning in spite of Daniel Jones, not because Daniel Jones. Giants might be in the market for Jimmy Garoppolo. So you're not going to get Jimmy Garoppolo back for the contract he's down for this year. If you're going to bring Jimmy Garoppolo back next year, you're going to be in a bidding war with other teams. You're probably going to be paying upwards of $25 million a season for Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, you're going to want to re-sign Nick Bosa next year. They already tendered Nick Bosa's fifth-year option. They had to tender his fifth-year option before this season started, which means going into next year, he'll be on the fifth year of his contract. If you let next season play out,
$18.9 million, by the way. Yep. Keep going. I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, no, I understand. But see, the thing is with Bosa, if you let next season play out, then he becomes a free agent. Now, if you're worried about Jimmy Garoppolo, if you're worried about getting into a bidding war over Jimmy Garoppolo, it'll be a bidding, nuclear war over Nick Bosa. You cannot let Nick Bosa reach free agency. So in my opinion, my own opinion, my number one priority right now is re-signing Nick Bosa in the offseason. That's, to me, the most important thing, because so much of this team is built around the defense, and so much of the defense is built around generating pressure from the defensive line. So if you bring Jimmy Garoppolo back at 25, 26, maybe $27 million a year, that could possibly preclude you from also re-signing Nick Bosa. So at that point, is that really worth it? Like even the most hardcore Jimmy Garoppolo fans, would you choose to keep Jimmy Garoppolo if it meant that you were going to lose Nick Bosa?
Good point. I'm Paul shaking his head. I ain't even going to answer that question. I don't know
about that.
Right.
And then it seems like the other half of the equation for these people is they're out on Trey Lance. They probably never.
I don't get why. I don't understand why.
They didn't want him. They didn't want Wayne. They didn't want him in the first place. That's the thing. These people thought, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo is good enough. We should just stay at 12 and get somebody like an offensive tackle or something like that. Whatever. Because there's no way. I don't see any other way. You can't judge a player after 4 career starts, especially when it seemed like it was starting to pick up. I mean, he played very well in the second half of the Texans game at the end of last season. This season, the first game, it wasn't that great against the Bears, but there was like a monsoon going on. I'm not really going to judge a quarterback based off how well they can pass in the rain. And then the second game where he got injured, he was actually looking good against the Seahawks before he went down. The offense was looking good. He was moving the ball.
There it is.
So I don't know. I think, some people, if you're out on Trey Lance, then you might think, okay, let's keep Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the problem is Jimmy Garoppolo is like, he's an average quarterback. He's probably like 12 to 18. Let's say he's like the 15th best quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's funny is I think the people that like Jimmy Garoppolo and people that don't like Jimmy Garoppolo, I think like we agree, like he's like the 15th best quarterback. I think the difference is some people are like, oh, we could do better than that. And some people are like, yeah, but you could also do worse than that too. So I understand it, but that ship has already sailed. It's too late. You've already invested way too much into Trey Lance as your starting quarterback. All of the draft capital you gave up to get him. And then, not for nothing, but this move for Christian McCaffrey, I don't think this was just a move to maximize Jimmy's potential this year. There's another 2 years of Christian McCaffrey under contract. I think if Christian McCaffrey looks good in the backfield standing next to Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he's going to look really good standing in the backfield next to Trey Lance. I was actually talking to Eric Cocker about this like a week or two ago. He had me on his show, and I was saying to him, like, let's say you're a middle linebacker on a defense, right? You got Trey Lance lined up in shotgun. You got Christian McCaffrey lined up next to him in the backfield. You got Deebo Samuel out wide. You got George Kittle inline tight end. Deebo Samuel starts going into motion, and they snap the ball. You're the middle linebacker. Who do you cover?
I know.
Do you follow Deebo Samuel on the end around? Do you hold back in case they hand it off to Christian McCaffrey? That could also end up being like a triple option play.
That's
Trey Lance could keep the ball himself.
We just spoke about that.
I will give Jimmy credit. Jimmy is never going to be a mobile quarterback, but you know who else was never a mobile quarterback either?
Who?
Tom Brady. Tom Brady was never a mobile quarterback, but what he did was he would move around in the pocket. He's not going to take off and get you a 30-yard gain, but Tom Brady was always great at, I'm going to take a step to the left, take a step to the right, I'm going to step up in the pocket. Like, he didn't have, like, outside of the pocket mobility, but inside the pocket, he had good mobility. And I think that's an area where Jimmy has shown a little bit of improvement so far, especially in these last 3 games. He's been doing a good job of just avoiding the pass rush, which is good. I think a lot a lot of his problems, whether it's the injury or the turnovers, I think both his two biggest weaknesses are the injuries and the turnovers. I think both of those came from holding on to the ball too long and being too stationary in the pocket. You let the pass rush get to you. That's where the injuries happen, and that's when the turnovers happen. So he's done a good job of being decisive, getting rid of the football, and stepping out of the pocket. But again, let's be clear. This is the first time he's gone 3 straight games without an interception. I mean, we're a little bit over a month removed from Jimmy Garoppolo walking out of the back of the end zone for a safety and the team losing to the Atlanta Falcons. So, you know, it's the perfect time if you're a Jimmy Garoppolo fan. He's coming off of a 4-touchdown game on Monday Night Football, 3 straight games without an interception. He's looking great. It's the best stretch of his career. So if you're a Jimmy Garoppolo fan, his stocks have never been higher. I mean, this is the perfect time to get on the internet and tell people, oh, look, see, I told you so. I was right about Jimmy Garoppolo. And if he keeps playing at this level for the duration of the rest of the season and into the playoffs, then maybe at that point it becomes a different conversation, maybe. But I'm not even close to being ready to, you know, making that kind of decision yet. In my opinion, I still think the future is Trey Lance. I think you invest a lot in him. I don't see any evidence that he is not going to become a franchise quarterback. I mean, it's difficult to say that there's the evidence that he will be a franchise quarterback, but that's the thing. He's only served 4 games. You can't really say for sure what he's going to become. But I just think with the potential, the things he brings to the offense, the ability to stretch the ball down the field, the ability to escape the pocket, create rushing yards from the quarterback position, I think these are all added elements. We're seeing right now what Kyle Shanahan is able to do with this offense with Jimmy Garoppolo. He's already getting guys in one-on-one matchups, and that's one of the reasons this team is so successful is because who are you getting in these one-on-one matchups? Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. These players can all easily win one-on-one matchups. So Kyle is able to scheme these matchups right now, and the defense doesn't have to account for the quarterback running the ball, and they really don't have to account for the quarterback throwing the ball down the field. I think when you add those elements to the offense, I think if you stick with Trey next year and you add those elements to the offense, it's just going to open up even more. And defensive coordinators, they're going to have to stock up on, you know, NyQuil or whatever, Benadryl, because they're not going to be getting any sleep the week before they play the 49ers next year. Trying to figure out how do we account for all these people. You can't. You start even if you were able to key in on 2 players. If you keyed in on Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, you're not accounting for Trey Lance coming out of the backfield. You're not really accounting for George Kittle. Somebody is going to eat. Somebody's going to be open. And again, that's why I want to see what this offense looks like with Trey Lance. I think even if you could possibly account for all skill position players, nobody's going to be spying the quarterback. And if you start spying the quarterback, it's going to open things up underneath for Ayuk and Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. So, you know, I don't want to be too negative towards Jimmy. This is the best stretch of his career. The statistics bear that out, and the eye test bears it out. I mean, just watching him play, he looks comfortable, he looks decisive, and he seems to be like aware of the pass rush and aware of where the linebackers are. And that's all we've really asked for his entire career is like just know where the linebackers are. Don't throw it directly to a linebacker. And if the pass rush is coming, just get rid of the ball. I mean, some people might say that throwing the ball away is one of the best plays you can make in football because it prevents you from turning the ball over. It prevents you from taking a sack and losing yardage. Sometimes the defenders get paid too. Like, these are professionals. Even, you know, you see teams like the New York Giants, nobody expected them to play well this year. You see teams like the Detroit Lions, they've been a laughing stock. They're winning games now. They just had a really good game. They almost beat the Bills on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even the worst teams in the NFL are still professional football teams, and they can make plays if you let them. So, you know, I think it's way too early to say that we need to keep Jimmy for next year. I think people need to keep in consideration that quarterback's the most expensive position on the field. There are going to be other people interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. He's going to want to be a starting quarterback. He's going to want to be paid like a starting quarterback. So in order to keep him, you're going to have to make that kind of commitment. And making that kind of commitment, it might prevent you from re-signing some of your own guys, like, you know, for instance, Nick Bosa. I think that'd be really bad.
I got
you. Again, he's been playing well. I want to give him his credit. I don't want to come out and just say like he's the worst quarterback in the league. Again, I think he's probably like middle of the pack. He's like 15, somewhere around there. If people think, well, that's good enough if you have a top 3 defense and a top 3 running game and all these weapons on the outside, yeah, maybe you're right. The other thing is with health-wise, I think when Jimmy is healthy and playing well, it's easy to say, oh yeah, this guy looks like a franchise quarterback. Let's not forget, Kyle Shanahan said when they drafted Trey Lance, when they made the move up to draft a quarterback, he said, we're doing this because Jimmy Garoppolo's injury history. It's not because of the turnovers. It's not because of the mistakes he makes. We can live with that. He said it's because, he's just been injured too many times. We've had too many seasons where our starting quarterback has gone down and, we've been trotting out Nick Mullins. Like, you're not going to win the Super Bowl with Nick Mullins. So, I don't want to jinx the situation. I don't want to speak it into existence, but Jimmy Garoppolo does have an injury history. And that was one of the reasons they want to move on from Trey Lance. So it looks good now. What happens if you bring Jimmy Garoppolo back next season and you go into, the 3rd or 4th game of the season and, he gets injured and he's out for the year? Obviously at that point you still have Trey Lance on your roster, but you'd have made a massive financial commitment to Jimmy Garoppolo. That'll preclude you from signing other free agents, maybe re-signing some of your own players. So, I think some of it is some of it is just without any context. They're just looking at it like Jimmy Garoppolo is playing well right now. We should bring him back. But I think when you look at it with some context, you realize that this is kind of unprecedented the way Jimmy's been playing. He's playing the best football of his career. It's most likely he's going to revert back to the median, the way he usually plays through his career. That's just, the odds are that he's probably not going to suddenly become a much better quarterback. And, people are looking at it without the context of you invested all this in Trey Lance. If you bring Jimmy Garoppolo back and you have to pay him a lot, it might preclude you from re-signing some of your own players. And, again, I always go back to, my thing is with this offense, it seems like Kyle Shanahan's entire philosophy is about disguising the run and the pass. He said before he wants to be about a 50-50 split, and he doesn't want defense to be able to pick up on anything. That's why you have a guy like George Kittle, who's not only a good passer, that's why someone like George Kittle is much better in this offense than Travis Kelce, because you also need your tight end to block. So George Kittle can be productive in the passing game, but he can also be productive in the running game. You got Deebo Samuel. Obviously, he was running the ball last year. They call him the wide back, so he can be productive in the running game. He can also be productive in the passing game. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey. So Kyle Shanahan has built an entire offense around being able to disguise, run and pass, and then whatever the defense is keying on, you just do the opposite of that, and it's going to be open. So that's why I think a mobile quarterback would fit especially well into Kyle's system, because, again, it's all built on disguising things and making the defense key on one thing and then doing another thing. And I think if you add that the mobile quarterback element, especially now you got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. I still there are times where I still don't really believe it. Did this really happen? If you had asked me before the Christian McCaffrey trade, which other player in the NFL would fit the 49ers offense the best, I probably would say Christian McCaffrey, because he fits this offense perfectly. He's a very good running back, but he's also excellent at catching the ball out of the backfield. That is 100% what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. He wants to be able to run the ball. He wants to be able to pass the ball. And he doesn't want the defense to know what you're doing. If the defense thinks you're going to run, that's when he wants to pass it. If the defense is prepared for a pass, that's when he wants to run it. So that's why, in my opinion, I wouldn't bring Jimmy back next year. It's not just going to be, let's just give him, an incentive up to $15 million contract. No, he's going to get at least $25 million. 20 of that's probably going to be guaranteed. You're going to be in a bidding war. It's not as simple as oh yeah, sure, just bring the guy back. You got to take into consideration you're going to have to pay him a lot.
Good point. Listen, E, you guys have written, man, I could turn this into a mini book, like a listening audible. I want people to hear this. You and Gammon's your takes were pretty great. I can't wait to go back and rewatch them and listen to them again. But I appreciate you for calling in. And every time you call in is always an excellent listen. But thank you for tuning in and calling in, bro. And I hope you have a safe and blessed holiday. And let's get this win on Sunday. I think that's what's most important. I don't care who's back there quarterback. I don't care if Christian McCaffrey got to throw 20 snaps. Let's get a dub.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm all in on Jimmy this year. I really think they can be highly competitive this year, especially in the NFC. The NFC isn't really stacked. I think they can run through the NFC like a hot knife through warm butter. And then the only question is, who do you – and, like, again, I think it's a game of matchups, right? Like they say with boxing, like styles make fights, right?
That's it.
I think the Chiefs are a bad matchup for the 49ers. But the Chiefs didn't make the Super Bowl last year. I think there are a lot of other teams in the AFC where if the 49ers can make the Super Bowl, if they're playing some of these other teams, I think they'll have a much better chance. And again, I still think they can beat the Chiefs. I just think that the Chiefs are probably the worst matchup.
I agree.
So if they can make it through, the NFC, I think there's a lot of other teams that have a strong chance on. So I believe in Jimmy for this year. I just think next year, let's put Trey Lance in there, see what he can do.
I'm with you, brother. Thanks for calling in. Peace out.
You too.
And that ends the segment of the Shoot the Breeze segment. And we're gonna X that out right now. All right. So listen, Paul, really great callers, a lot of great takes. We got some contributions we're gonna do. I got a question, and then you're gonna give your score prediction for Sunday's game. All right. So we're gonna end that segment. Guys, thank y'all for participating in the Shoot the Breeze segment of the show. It was wow. Like it was just wild on. We got a couple of contributions I want to get to. Both of them from my boy Gammon, man. He says, listen, next week, do a graphics with quarterback tiers with rankings. So we'll do that for next week. We'll make sure we'll get the graphic for quarterback tiers and their rankings. And then he also says, Jimmy is extremely limited, who isn't asked to do much. Trey isn't as limited, and at the same time won't be asked to do much. It makes everybody's job easier when your offense is less predictable. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, some of the callers were talking about Kyle Shanahan letting the quarterback play. But I think you look at it another way, Breezy. You've got to earn that trust. And
Yes.
I think what we've seen over the last 4 games is Kyle Shanahan has made us unpredictable. You know, if you got to say to someone now, are the 49ers a pass-heavy team or a run-heavy team, and you go back and watch the game tape, it depends on the opposition. We threw the ball more than we ran the ball against the Cardinals. I believe we'll run the ball more than we'll throw the ball on Sunday. So while all these callers have been epic and sit here absorbing all the content, I don't think Jimmy's the reason we win this game on Sunday. I honestly think we're going to be a run-heavy offense, yards after the catch, and I've got my score prediction written down. And I just want to say thank you to everyone in the comments. I just want to clarify again, Breezy, I have no interest in the soccer. So if America beats England, don't come at my DMs because I am not interested in the slightest. And I'm talking to John V. I don't care. Go after Carl. Don't come after me.
I saw it in the comment section. I was like, oh boy, he's about to speak on this one, man. He's zero interest. He's about to go watch football stuff, guys, like American football right now. But listen, look, I think both quarterbacks do have their limitations. I think Trey Lance's limitations come due to the fact that he's just not playing professional football right now. So whatever he was asked to do in college, he did it well, whether it was against less superior teams or not, he did it well. They asked him to run the ball up the middle, he did it well. They asked him to throw the ball down the field, he did it well. He didn't have to throw many screens. He didn't have to do all that stuff. So he's coming here to this West Coast offense, and he has to learn how to get the check down. And when are we talking about this check down shit? Jimmy Garoppolo didn't start throwing good to check downs until Christian McCaffrey came. Can we go back and check Jimmy check down completion percentage? He was terrible. He was throwing balls so high over people's heads. Look, this is not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be mad at Jimmy. I'm just saying the check down efficiency didn't happen until Christian McCaffrey. I just want to put that out there. So, yes, Jimmy's able to hit Christian McCaffrey because he trusts wherever he places that ball, Christian McCaffrey's going to make a play. Example, Arizona Cardinals game. Ball was away from McCaffrey. He catches it with one hand and then makes the guy miss. That's Christian McCaffrey. It's not Jimmy Garoppolo. But, listen, I'm happy. And we just got to go out there and beat these Rams. That's it. It's at the end of the day, we got to go out and beat these Rams. We got one question we want to get to because someone remembered to save a question for the end. Eric Carr says, do you worry about the slow starts in games? Paul, do you worry about the slow start in games?
It's not how you start in the NFL. It's how you finish. And look at us. Second half, we've shut out 3. NFL teams 3 games in a row. That's nothing to be sniffed at. That is no laughing matter. Ryans knows how to adjust. He looks at the opposition, he looks at what they're doing, and he makes the necessary adjustments. So I'm not overly worried about that. And I'm one of those, Breezy, that when people saw Kyle has his scripted players, of course he does. Every coach in the NFL has his scripted players. You were there on Monday night. Didn't seem to start too slowly, did we? We went in 17-10 at halftime against the Cardinals. I was not worried.
I will say this. If the 49ers would have executed, they would have scored first.
Yeah.
So if you go back and rewatch the game against the Cardinals, it was on their first drive. Christian McCaffrey had 2 good runs. That third one, it was a penalty, brought the 49ers back. They were whatever. Then they threw that third down, third and long to Juwan Jennings. They had to come up off the field. That's execution. So it started with a penalty, and then the execution of which I thought was a good pass by Jimmy Garoppolo, by the way. Just Juwan Jennings couldn't get there and get to it. So look, execution always comes down to it. The 49ers, they're not trying to start slow, but I think Paul said it right. It's not about how you start, it's always about how you finish. And the good thing is this is the only thing you guys should care about, right? They're making adjustments and they're executing from the adjustments that they're making. So did they go up? They were up by 7 this time, and then they kept finding ways to adjust to pile on. That's what they did. Sometimes they go down at the half, but then they come back and make the adjustments and win the game. So it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish, Paul. You couldn't have said it any better. Paul, thank you for being on here. Before you give your score prediction, let everybody know where they can find you and when they can find you. Close us out with your score prediction. I'll tell you mine after you finish yours, and we'll keep it moving, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I have to say, I do have to get better at plugging myself because I come on your show and I forget to drop my Twitter handle. So I am at Paul_Hope10. Those people who are following me already, I'm very active on social media. It's all 49ers content. I also run the at 49er Faithful UK. And like you, Breezy, I'm part of Let's Talk Sports. So I've got an exclusive for you. Dan has given me a second show that I'll be doing on a Tuesday evening, which is called the Paul Hope Show. So it's very similar to your show, but I'll have to drop you a DM. I'll have to get you on so you can come, and I'll be the host, and I'll ask you the questions.
I would love that. It's so much easier when people ask me questions. My gosh.
So yeah,
that'd be a relief. But please have me on, and congratulations to the new show, your new show, the Paul Hope Show. I love it. Shout out to them over there at Let's Talk Sports. They're going to be doing a giveaway soon. So once I get the information, I'll definitely make mention of it on the show. Listen, and thank them from helping me get back to this particular status and where I'm at. And guys, we're on the road to 5K. If you guys don't know, we're going to be giving something away every 1K. So every K we get to, we're going to be doing a nice jersey, some type of jersey, helmet, sign, some type of big giveaway. So keep pushing this channel, and it's because of you guys, right? So you guys are already subscribed. Now your job is to get other people to subscribe to the content, to the channel. And if you do that, guys, you'll be entering and another chance to win a nice giveaway. That's what we like to do over here. But Paul, score prediction.
So, no surprise, the 49ers are winning. My boy Lee Gowland is at Levi's. There's no way we're losing this game. We're winning 28-14 on Sunday, Breezy. That's my score prediction.
28-14. You ain't got us in the 30s, bro?
Nah, I think we're just going to ease off a little bit. Put Brock in fourth quarter. It'll be done. And then next week, we might be talking about the 3 quarterbacks rather than the 2.
Oh, my gosh. All right, you got it, man. Paul says 28-14. Wasn't that my score? Not my score prediction last week was 28-13. This week, I'm going 34-10. That's what I believe. That's what I said.
In the second half, though. Do we shut them out in the second half?
I don't know. I'm hoping they keep that up, but I know they only giving up 10 points. I don't care how they shut them out. I don't care what they do. They're giving up 10 points. They're giving up 10 points. I'm telling you, 10 points. And it's going to be for some stupid blown-ass coverage. All right? I see Michael saying 20. We got 28-6. We got 38-14. This is going to be fun. Guys, I'm going to be doing the Madden Challenge. I forgot almost. And it's late, and I got a show tonight, so I'm going to try to get to it. Really quickly, my boy Raj just put out an update of Eric Armstead, so let me see if I can find it. I know a lot of people were asking about Eric Armstead, so shout out to Raj out there. I appreciate you, bro. I don't know if you're watching the show, but thank you for that update. Damn, where is it? Let me check my phone. All right. So we got an update on his injury status. Does anybody see it? Because I still can't find it. Oh, I see the Paul Hope show, bro. That's what's up, Paul. What talking about, dog? I just saw a flyer. My bad.
Did John V apologize because he didn't want you to go to Mexico, Breezy? He said you were going to be the curse, and you went to Mexico and you broke that
John
curse.
V owes me a coffee, John, because we whipped that ass, John. And the update is Eric Armstead will be out against the New Orleans Saints, guys. So shout out to Raj for putting that out. Our SF49ers. Make sure you're following him. And John, I want my damn coffee, and I want a special. I don't want no Dunkin' Donuts. I want the John V Create coffee, and I want a coffee machine too. So you gotta figure that out, John, because we beat that tail. I meant to say tail in the first place. So that's the update on Eric Armstead. He's going to be out per Jordan Schultz. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the WayneBreezie Show. Shout out to Paul. I can't wait till your show airs, man. It's gonna be really, really, really cool. I'm so excited. But make sure you definitely have me on as a guest. Everybody watching, enjoy y'all weekend. I should be doing that Madden challenge within the next several hours, so make sure your alert is set to on. I will try to get that done probably 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those are my time slots because I got to get out here and get to a show. All right, love y'all. Stay up, stay faithful. Thanks for watching. Peace out. See y'all on Sunday, baby. Sizzling Sunday at that. We're going to have some fun. We cooking. Peace. Football.